force that pervades the entirety of existence, and you can connect with it and be inspired by it, or you can be separated from it and thus be demonically manipulated. And this, what I called earlier, the truth vibrations, this vibrational change that's going on, that's breaking up this simulated mind prison. It's what a Christian would call God, what I would call the infinite. It's actually making it happen. And this is what this demonic realm, this demonic force is retreating from as it imposes itself more and more on this simulated nonsense. And that's why it's coming in, the demonic realm is coming more and more into this reality in its retreat. And that's why we're seeing all these bizarre things going on in this chaos. But, you know, instead of saying, do you believe in the Christian God, or do you believe in the Islamic God, or whatever, it's a force of love. It's a force of wisdom. It's a force that holds the entirety of infinite reality together. And whatever we call it, that's what it is. And instead of being divided and ruled by our perceptions of it, let's just be brought together by understanding that it may be different things to different people, but it's actually the same force we're talking about. And it is in the process of bringing an end to this nonsense. But we're going to have chaos and upheaval, because if you corner a rat, it's not going to go quietly. And that's what we're experiencing. We're experiencing the demonic realm and its cult expression in our reality are being cornered, and it's thrashing out, and it's desperately doing everything it can to hold on to its power.
Well, if anybody in the world has been completely vindicated in his work the last 35 years, it's David Icke. And of course, myself and a few others are close seconds. And I wish we hadn't been vindicated. I wish that our understanding of the world had been wrong. But now it's all out in the open. Planetary world government that wants to depopulate us, cashless societies, takeovers of our bodies with nanotech and electromagnetic radiation, open Satanism. I was just in Omaha to see my wife's father was in the hospital. They had a gay pride parade come by the hotel. They were wearing Satan shirts. I got photos of it, showed you, saying, we're going to get your children. I mean, this is just so crazy. The Ukrainian dictator says that the Russians are going to blow up a nuclear power plant this week. It just goes on and on and on. We have the new king coronated with his calls for world government and depopulation. Then we've got this viral videos of the woman on a Dallas plane out of Dallas yesterday, who reportedly saw a man in a green hoodie turn into some type of reptile. And I wouldn't normally go with this. She doesn't look schizophrenic, doesn't sound nuts, sounds genuinely freaked out. But some of the other people on board said they saw things. The reason I'm going to raise this is David Icke talked about this 30 plus years ago. And I never made fun of him about it because a lot of what he said was credible. I couldn't prove it, but I talked about this a few months ago. So he can cover this now or later in the next 2 hours. He can cover any of the issues I'm throwing or anything he wants to get to first. But I have met with a lot of really prominent people, household names recently, really in the last year, and they all keep telling me about the same experiences. And I didn't talk about it until 5 prominent people had basically told me the same stories in the last year. And so I started telling you about this, and I only had one event happen like this to me when I was a teenager. I was not on drugs, and I'd been taken to jail for fighting, and some of the police officers took me in the back room, and just for 2 seconds, one of their faces, he said, "Oh, you think you're tough, kid?" And literally his face changed right in front of me. And on my children, it happened. I saw it. So something's going on. What is this? And why is it getting more prevalent? Because if I told you the names, these are very serious people. Most of them weren't even religious. And when they saw this, they got religion. very, very quickly. And then why is it happening to prominent people? What's going on? So it seems like the veil between other dimensions and things is fading, or something's happening. So many things to talk about. But remember, when we go into this esoteric or occult or unknown area, that just means stuff that's not been discovered yet. They're always finding new species every day. They're always discovering new energy sources, new elements. We've only discovered a few square feet of the territory around us compared to an entire universe. So, David, that's my intro here. You can start with these phenomenon, or you can end with the phenomenon. You can go wherever you'd like, but thank you, because we were trying to set you up for weeks. Perfect timing you came on today with the hysteria off of what this woman and others saw on this plane.
Yeah, well, I'd like to start deep in the rabbit hole, Alex, if you don't mind. I've just finished a book that's coming out on September the 1st called The Dream, which goes deeper in the rabbit hole than I've ever been. And there's information in that book that simply has never been written or revealed before. And it puts into context what is actually happening. You know, I've been saying all these decades that we cannot understand what is happening in the world of the seen unless we understand what's happening in the world of the unseen. So very quickly, you know, for people who haven't come across this, and you should ask, why haven't they come across this? Why isn't this taught in the schools as a matter of course? But what we see is only a tiny band of frequency, so small it's ridiculous. Everything beyond that frequency band, the limits of what the five senses can decode and the eye senses can decode into a visual reality, is infinity. And if you think of radio stations in the old analog system and television stations, they shared the same space, but they don't interfere with each other, impact upon each other, unless they're really close on the dial. So if you want to look for outside of this reality dimension, whatever you want to call it, for that level that can interfere with this, then you've got to look at bands of dimensional frequency that are very close to this one, but just outside of our five-sense reality and our ability to perceive it in the natural course of events. And I'll call this dimension that's close to this one, the astral or the fourth dimension. Call this 3D, the third dimension. And in the lower levels of this astral dimension, in other words, the lower frequency levels which are really close to this one, that's the realm of the demonic. That's where demons and their name and description in all different religions and cultures, that's where they exist. These are the entities that the Satanists are interacting with in their rituals. Why do these Satanists, who may be sick, but a lot of them are not stupid, why are they doing these rituals? Because they're interacting with these entities. And when you do rituals, as they do, in the same places over and over and over again, what it does is it thins out the frequency difference between the astral, lower astral, where these demons are, and this reality. And so that interaction is made possible. Now, what's happening now is that lower astral dimension is starting to fuse into ours. And these demonic entities are much more able to move into our reality and stay for longer. And one of the conduits, that is allowing this to happen, that is the connection frequency that allows this to happen more now than ever before, is what we call 5G, with 6G and 7G to come. This 5G, there's so many elements to it, and one of them is that it is acting as a frequency conduit for these demonic entities to come into this realm. So people will start to see them. And what they do is they, quote, possess bodies, and there's also hybrids, which are part demonic and part human. And as this goes on, people are seeing more and more of this demonic level, and thus they're saying, oh my God, he turned into a reptile, he turned into this, he turned into the other. And we're going to see more and more and more of this. And it's to understand in the end that you can talk about Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum, and we should, and your Gateses and your Faucis and all these people, and your Soroses, quite right. But they are gophers, they are vehicles for this demonic realm. That's why they have no empathy. That's why they have no what we would call soul. That's why they do what they do.
You're saying they're biological robots.
I must get closer.
Well, this is an area of my book, The Dream, and indeed The Trap, the one that's out at the moment, which I emphasize to quite a large extent. This is how I see it, Alex, okay, after 35 years of researching this. The body is a biological computer. I've been saying that for decades. And it's a program. It's a software program. So if you do not introduce consciousness beyond the program, then that AI software program, which is what the biological is, and I should make this emphasis. People look at biological and they think that's natural.
I am out of range.
To this demonic realm, the biological is a form of the technological. It's just that because we see technology with steel and machines and circuits, we think that's technology. And we think what is apparently natural is natural, biologically natural. But actually, to them, it's a form of technology. It's a form of software. So when you're getting these...
And notice the electrochemical is interfacing with the silicon. They actually work together very similarly.
Well, you will have seen the documents from Moderna, for instance, where they describe, when they're talking about this fake vaccine, they're talking about it being an operating system. See, as humans talk about, well, this is natural, but how do we know it's natural? What have we got it to compare it with? Nothing. You know, if you have a headset on in a virtual reality game, then you can thrash about because your mind thinks it's real, but you can take the headset off and you go, whoa, it was just a game. But if the body-brain system is the equivalent of the headset for humans, then you can't take it off. And therefore, everything that you look at, which you think is natural, well, how do we know?
And David, you've been saying this for 35 years, and now Avatar and everything else has picked up what you say. And then now the new avatars are killing whales for their adrenochrome. Same thing over and over again. And so my listeners know this, they understand it, can't wait to read the new book, go next level with that. But I promise listeners, and my wife and others want to ask you questions, to just go through the waterfront of what we're currently seeing. I understand getting the big picture is important. I want to spend the rest of this segment, another 10 minutes, on this topic. But I should probably talk to you off the air at some point, because this is really in confidence. But very prominent household names. And it's happening to a lot of regular people too, but it tends to be really happening to prominent people who didn't believe in God, but weren't occultists, weren't Satanists, where they are seeing what this woman saw, but being attacked by it in their rooms at night, driving along in their car alone, the literal, like the original Twilight Zone with the gremlin on the wing of the plane. Stuff like this is happening to household names, and they're calling me saying, oh my God, I guess God's real, or this is something else. So is it, I think what you're saying is the 5G and all of this is breaking down the dimensions and is like a conduit to like have this electricity jump into ours?
Yeah, it's acting as a bridge, a frequency bridge, absolutely designed to do that. And I think there's someone who's firing that at the Earth, isn't there, from low orbit satellites? What's his name?
Elon Musk.
That's it. Yeah. So I have a few questions about him. You would understand, given that.
Spend all the time you want on Musk, but so quantifying it. You're getting the same intel that this is intensifying.
Yeah, if I could just take this further with the body program, the software program. It's a behavior program. It's a perception program. So if you come out of the womb without consciousness, the eternal part of us intervening, then that program will run your life. It will decide what you think, and from what you think, it will decide what you behave, how you behave. So it's like a computer. It's like a computer without an operator. It's like a computer, if you like, going rogue with a virus. So you're tapping the keys and whacking the mouse, but it's not responding. But consciousness, this is why they want to suppress consciousness, the true self, the eternal self, which is a field of energy awareness that can intervene in the program. And the difference between what you might call non-player characters who just go through life nodding, yes sir, no sir, whatever you say, COVID, yeah, I'll believe what you say, and maverick people that are saying, hold on a minute, I'm seeing this in a much bigger arena here, a much bigger panorama, and this doesn't make sense to me. And by the way, I'm not going to cooperate with the people that want to control me, because I can see they want to control me. That's consciousness. And this is the difference between conscious people who are overriding the program and non-conscious people who are being run by the program.
Okay, and I want you to go wherever you want, because look, I obviously know Elon Musk is doing the brain interface and the 5G and all of it. I don't trust him as far as I can throw him. I'm still banned on Twitter. But at the same time, I see him saying, go outside. I see him coming out against censorship, all these things. And I also see all these prominent people, from Ice Cube to Ice-T to Russell Brand to you name it, sounding just like David Icke and Alex Jones. Is that them riding the awakening that they witness happening, or are they part of the awakening? And maybe the best test case, I respect your view, is then who do you think Elon Musk really is?
Well, Alex, they're not. They're not David Icke and Alex Jones. They're an incredibly mild version of it. And one of my great concerns is that the alternative media is being pushed closer to the mainstream in significant areas. Because, after COVID, or with COVID, a lot of doctors came in, a lot of other people came in who were mainstream people. And that was great to talk about the fake jab and all that was great. But what they've also done, a lot of them, is bring the rest of their mainstream belief system with. And look how we started off this chat. The cutting edge of this is way, way over the horizon from that, what I call the mainstream of the alternative. And Russell Brand, he had me on his shows years and years and years ago to take the piss. He had me on, and he put pictures up with the audience on the TV, saying, "Oh, is he a reptile? Is he a reptile? Is he a reptile?" He wasn't interested in getting across what was actually happening. And then after COVID, another bandwagon arrived, and he jumped on it. And he then becomes, Mr. Exposing what's going on. What he's talking about, what these others are talking about, and I'm glad they are, was being exposed decades ago by some of us, and it's very, very important that the alternative media is not barricaded in by here and no further people who won't go into these deep areas where the real truth and cause of all this lies. What we're seeing in this world of the scene is the symptom, not the cause. We must keep pushing the cutting edge. And so in terms of Elon Musk, here's my questions, Alex. First of all, he says that AI could be the end of humanity as we know it. Absolutely true. And then he starts a company called Neuralink to connect the human brain to computers and AI. He is putting up these low-orbit satellites through SpaceX, which are fundamental, with others, to creating this cloud, which I'm talking about. And the cloud is not just the bridge conduit between the astral dimension and this one. It's also the cloud to which we are meant to be connected, not least through the content of the jab, to become a hive mind where everyone thinks the same because it's coming from a central point. I mean, the last thing we should be doing is connecting technology or artificial intelligence to the human brain. What are you doing, Mr. Musk? And then he's pushing this. He's got this Tesla, which is the climate change agenda. It's the whole basis of why Tesla exists. With the electric cars doing far more damage to the environment than ever petrol and diesel car does. And then I asked this. You know, people say to me, "Yeah, but he bought Twitter, and he's a free speech absolutist." Well, he's not, but that is what he claims. Okay, and he put out the Twitter files. Yeah, okay. And what did the Twitter files say? Well, they said the deep state completely controlled Twitter. Yes, right. The deep state completely controlled Twitter and what was said on it and what wasn't, and Facebook and Google owned YouTube. So, question, why would the deep state and your BlackRocks and your Vanguards and your State Streets, complete cult operations, why would they not only sell to Musk, Twitter, but also have threatened to take him to court to force him to buy it? And then there's this question I have. Who owns Twitter? Well, Elon Musk owns Twitter. Oh, well, let's hold on a second. Twitter's been absorbed into something called X Corporation. And so Twitter basically doesn't exist except as a name. It's a corporate entity. It's X Corporation, or X Corp. But that has a parent company called X Holdings Corporation. Now, I don't know whether you came across this, but recently there was a court case in which a fired employee of Twitter took Twitter to court trying to get their just desserts. And part of that was their lawyers asked Twitter to name the shareholders of X Holdings Corporation, which actually owns Twitter. And the judge said, yes, we want to see it. Produce the document. So they did. And all 95 entities in X Holdings Corporation were scored off. Couldn't see them. So then Twitter did a deal with the judge that they would reveal to the person's lawyer who the 95 were on agreement that he would tell no one else, including his clients. So who are the 95? We should know in a transparent situation that we are apparently dealing with. By the way,
David, I'm familiar with this. What you're saying is totally true, and I totally agree with you. If they know there's a huge awakening coming that they weren't able to stop, they want to lead it. And so whereas we continue to be suppressed, now there's all these new people that basically become watered down versions of us, and I think people should be aware of that, but I do see it as a major victory that their brute force censorship didn't work, so they're having to now try to lead the opposition. I do see this as a defeat for them.
Yeah, well, you see, they saw the potential big time of the alternative media at the time the COVID card was played. And of course, they reacted to that with mass censorship, ludicrous censorship, and it's still going on and it's still expanding. But they know they can't shut down everything. And it was Lenin? It was Lenin who said words to the effect of, how do you control the opposition? You run it yourself. They were words to the effect that he said. And so we've got to be very, very careful about this and not let people come in and not just take it over, but then limit the range to which it will go. Because that's absolutely vital. Because if you don't understand the unseen, no way you're going to understand the seen.
David, I totally agree with you. And it's not to say we're the original gangsters or something. We're not territorializing this. We want an awakening, and it is happening. But they're launching all of this to try to lead the folks that are awakening right now. We'll talk about what comes next and where you see this fight going. David Icke's our guest. Stay with us. We just ended 3+ years of UN worldwide lockdowns and restrictions and forced injections. Russia and Ukraine have been battling in a NATO-Russia proxy war for the last year and a half. Islamicists are burning down large parts of cities across Europe. The U.S. border has completely collapsed. Millions and millions are coming across a year, many of them kidnapped children. Fentanyl deaths for over 100,000 a year. GMO products are being forced on the public. 5G is being erected in every major industrialized country. Cancer rates are exploding. Heart attacks, stroke, HIV. Out is the dream. DavidIke.com. We're going to be going back to David here in just a moment. Please remember, we are listener supported, just like David. We have my book, The Great Reset and the War for the World, signed and unsigned at InfoWarsStore.com. We have the July 4th super sale running through next Monday. 10% off on high-quality, gravity-fed water filtration, air filtration. That's a huge discount because it's already cut down to a very low price. We have Nitric Boost that Dr. Judy Mikovits has talked about. She thinks it's a great product full of key compounds that clean out your blood and do so much for your entire body, including libido. Nitric Boost discounted at InfoWarsStore.com. We have the great full-spectrum CBD oil. No THC, doesn't get you high, but does great things for your neurological systems, your joints, your bones, and everything. We have our ultimate bone broth, concentrated bone broth, chaga mushroom, bee pollen, really high-quality turmeric. It's 40% off. 60, 50, 40% off. 50% off Brain Force Plus and Brain Force Ultra, our two great nootropics when you get them together. So many great products, high quality, high end, highest grade fish oil and krill oil. Those are also doing amazing things. InfoWarsStore.com or 888-253-3139. And that's what keeps this broadcast on the air and allows us to really tell the truth and break the paradigm. But they're coming in with the central bank currencies. They're coming in with the ESGs to silence us. They're openly announcing it because they're scared and they are desperate. So please keep us on air. Please visit InfoWarsStore.com today or 888-253-3139. We have the ashwagandha. It's so good as well. Just check it all out. InfoWarsStore.com. Now, David, I've known who you are for 30+ years, probably 32 years, 33 years. I've been interviewing you for at least 26, 27 years. I've been on there 29. And I remember you coming on my show, and I've tried to find the interview, but they took it all off YouTube. But it had to be 20 years ago. And saying, doing my research and really focusing into, the higher dimensions, I believe there'll be a great awakening by 2016. There'll be a big pushback into the middle of the 2025, and I think this will all be decided by 2030. And I'm listening to this saying, okay, we'll see if that happens. It all happened basically as you said, and now no one can deny the Great Awakening is here, but at the same time, the evil, the dark forces are intensifying and are really on the march. So how would you describe this if it was a soccer game, which you were a top goalie yourself before you became a broadcaster with the BBC. If this was a British-style football game, how would you describe where we are and what's happening? Are the bad guys winning? Are the good guys winning, or are we at a stalemate?
Well, the game isn't over yet. That's the point. And where we are now, as you will know, I mean, when I started out in 1990 on this road that I'm still on, no one wanted to know. You talked about this stuff, reptiles, you're mad, and all this stuff. And oh no, people running the world, that's impossible. A few people can't run the world, they couldn't do it. All that was completely dismissed. But look at it now. Look at it now. I mean, it's a phenomenal number of people now, not least since COVID, that have started to see that the world's not like they thought it was. They're starting to see how the dots connect and how the same thing is happening everywhere. How does that happen without coordination? So, the people that are kind of relatively new to this, they will look at the situation and go, we're in real trouble because no one's waking up. Not enough people are waking up. But if you have the perspective of 1990, then the number of people that are now starting to see it is absolutely fantastic. What we've got to do is turn the seeing it into not cooperating with it. And, you know, I said a long time ago that it's got to get really bad before enough people will, concentrate their minds that actually action is necessary and necessary urgently. And so every time they're pushing on, and the more it impacts on people's lives, the more people are becoming aware that actually the conspiracy theorists were not theorists at all. And that is happening. But at the same time, you've got this rolling out of this digital concentration camp. And that has always been the goal, always been the game. And, you know, there's three groups of people. Two of them, they've basically got. The second group, maybe there's potential to move across, but they've basically got them. The first group is people who just, I call them non-player characters, who just accept what they're told without question. If it's someone in authority says it, then it must be true. Then you've got the second group that can actually see that something's not right, and they really don't want to do what the authorities are telling them, but they fear the consequences of not doing so. They are basically under the control of the cult, absolutely. The third group, which is getting bigger, this is the point, are those that can see it more and more and are refusing to cooperate with it. And they're the ones, therefore, that this cult has to target more than anyone. First of all, they have to do everything they can to stop that group communicating what it's seen and communicating what it's researched. But even then, as I said earlier, they're not going to stop all of it. So what they have to do then, this is what this is all about, is say, okay, you want to challenge us, you want to not cooperate, that's fine, but we are going to have a global digital currency, which is, it was in a book I wrote called Robots Rebellion in 1992. It came out in 93, about this end of cash and the one world currency. That we are going to not only have a digital global currency, but we're going to make it programmable. And that means that we can dictate what you can use it for and what you can't. And if you want to challenge us, well, how are you going to eat? How are you going to pay the rent? How are you going to survive? Because you're not going to be able to. And what we've seen, Alex, in the last few days in Britain is a precursor of that, as Nigel Farage has come out, because he's well known, he's got publicity, but loads of other people before him have gone through the same thing.
I've been debanked. I would imagine you've been messed with, right?
Well, I was banned from PayPal. I didn't even bloody use it. But the thing is that the banks are now starting to say, if you have the wrong opinion, you can't have a bank account. Now, okay, the idea, of course, is to get rid of cash so you can't operate outside the banking system, to get this digital currency in, which is programmable, so they have complete control over your finances and your ability to function. And all that is targeting this third group, the awakening group, the increasingly maverick group. And that's why they're doing it. And
well, I totally agree, and they admit that they want to use it for control over. So let me ask you this. If this group had their druthers, do we just get used for body parts for a cyborg system like Yuval Noah Harari talks about, or is it a childhood's end type scenario? If this outside alien group had its way, the satanic group had its way, what would the world look like versus you predicted the future before, you say we're going to win. How do you see this battle unfolding? I know you say it's up to us and I agree with you, but looking into the future again, like you did on my show 20 years ago, 25 years ago, give us your projection into what you see unfolding.
Okay, well, I mean, this is far out. I go into this deeply in the dream. Think of this astral dimension, which is interpenetrating ours. And it's a range of frequency. So at the top end of the astral dimension is much higher frequency, much more awareness than in the lower levels where the demonic is, the lower levels of the astral. I wrote a book, which the first one that I wrote after my head blew off in 1990, it was called Truth Vibrations. And I named that because what I gleaned, various ways that I explained, was that a vibrational change was coming, a frequency change that was going to awaken humanity from its slumber, from its coma. And the people that were more awake were going to be affected first. And then eventually people who were fast asleep, solid gold asleep, were going to start to be affected. Now, in 1990, there was no evidence that that was the case. But now look at it, and you can see the impact. Now, this truth vibrations, as I called it truth vibrations, because what I was told is that, and what I gleaned, various ways that I explained, was that all that had been hidden from us, this frequency change was going to bring to the surface so that we could see it.
I am out of range.
Now, and this is what I wrote in 1990.
Get closer.
Now, look at what we know now, Alex, that we didn't know then. Look at what we know now that we didn't know a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. This is happening. And in terms of this astral dimension, this truth vibration frequency that is rebalancing everything from its imbalance, from its distortion, is coming down the astral frequencies. And it's coming down towards this demonic realm. And this demonic realm is seeking to retreat into this reality because of what's going on.
Get closer.
And as a result, it's created this technological system so that it can enter more and more our reality. And this lower astral level, the demonic, is chaotic, it's inverted, it's crazy, it's a mess, it's full of upheaval. And what you're seeing in the world is that that being transferred into our world. So it's becoming more and more crazy, more and more.
And by the way, let me interrupt you. This is totally on target for my own research and just spiritual gut level analysis and the spirit. Is that's why they're even the top globalists no longer say they're atheists. They go, oh yeah, there is something. We're in an artificial reality. It's enslaved us, and they're trying to create a silicon new reality to escape to. Because their false satanic reality is being bombarded. So all they're running around like chickens with their heads cut off and freaking out, and all these acts of power and control is them basically going into a death spiral or a spasm. Do you agree with that and speak to that?
Well, they're like ducks. They serenely make their speeches, serenely say what's going to happen, but their little feet are going like that under the water because the only way that this demonic realm can control humans is if humans stay unconscious. When we expand our awareness, when we put aside all preconceived idea and preconceived belief in reality and everything, and say, I'm gonna let my own experience and information be my guide and not preconceived idea, you start to realize what the game is. And the more people that awaken to that, the more that energy of awakening will dominate these village idiots. That's what they are. You know, in the kingdom of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. It's very, very appropriate that one of their major symbols is a single eye, because they are the one-eyed man, and they have prevailed this far by keeping humans blind in both eyes. It's not that they are omnipotent and all-powerful. Bunch of prats. Anyone that wants to control everything like they do is obviously suffering from extreme levels of insecurity for a start. Secure people don't want to control others. They just want to get on with their lives. Let others get on with their lives. So these are not all powerful. They're not. Their trick is to convince us that they are. It's like authority. Authority in the human world of the scene is simply the demonic made manifest in our reality. So people say, oh, you can't go against authority, it's too powerful. Oh, really? What if millions or billions of people say to authority, a tiny number, we're not having it?
Well, let me raise an example of that. You know, you and I saw this over a decade ago, but the world sees an narcissistic show, and even the Hollywood stars come out and say, everyone hates us. There's nothing more uncool than being a Hollywood star. You see Prince Charles, King Charles, basically almost everybody laughing at them in their little ridiculous outfits, their regalia. But do you think the establishment, who's retreated into their bubbles, realizes that the world is turning against them very, very quickly?
Well, I think they do. And, you know, once they put themselves on public display, which was basically when the COVID card was played, and they knew that when they played that, great vast numbers of people just go along, just nodding dogs. But they would awaken significant numbers of people who wouldn't go that direction and would see it and would awaken to more as a result. So they have a goal of 2030, which they want to pull forward as much as they can, for a simple reason. Once you've put yourself on public display, you have a certain period, as short as you can get away with, to so literally lock down digitally and technologically through AI the population before enough of them wake up to overthrow your nonsense. So they are really pushing this on. And the thing is, you know, it's what I was trying to get across in terms of the lack of omnipotent power that they really have. Their power is the power we give them. And that is that you can look at censorship and you can say, oh, that's where they've got the power of censorship. Yeah, but what's censorship really? It's an expression of fear. Because if they weren't frightened of the truth coming out, they wouldn't be censoring. And all this imposition of the digital currency and the digital concentration camp is actually an expression of desperation and fear, because they know if they don't push this through fast over this period, then enough people are going to wake up to bring it down.
And David, I totally agree with you. And so you're talking 35,000 foot view here, but for the listeners who do want these questions drilled into, we know the enemy is going to strike back. So what do you make of the Ukraine war, of Zelensky, of them saying the Russians are going to blow up the nuclear power plant in the next few days with no evidence? What do you make of Biden, who they obviously want to get rid of now? Who are they going to bring in? I mean, just as they know they're losing their power, and they're desperately trying to bring in their world government, their world currency, everything we said openly happened. We're totally vindicated. But that's us saying, hey, we were right in the past. Listeners, again, want to know what's coming in the future and what we do to counter this. So, I mean, let's walk through a few scenarios here. Ukraine war.
Well, I've been saying for decades that the plan was to bring the West into conflict with an alliance of Russia and China, with Iran thrown in and stuff like that. It doesn't necessarily have to be a military conflict. It well could be. It could be an economic conflict. And you know, China is the key. I mean, we're talking about Russia and Ukraine, but in the background is the biggie. China is the blueprint for the world. And the Mao revolution, I suggest, was actually a cult revolution using a frontman called Mao. And the idea was to create a closed society in which a system of mass control, not least through technology, could be incubated and perfected and then played out across the world. And so that's why we've had this, if you want to connect a few dots, not only has the Chinese system been played out more and more across the world since the, quote, COVID, which came out, it's said, of China, you've had for decades US corporations that are not US corporations, and they're not European corporations, they're cult corporations, the same cult that controls China. They've been outsourcing their production to China and the East, especially China. And so they've given China all the aces in terms of supply, of producing and supplying basic products, etc. This has all been orchestrated.
I totally agree. Stay right there. We got to break in a few minutes, but we got a few till break. But it's on record that China's been given control of 98% of rare earth minerals for all the electronics. It's on record that the CIA in 49 double-crossed Chiang Kai-shek and backed Mao. It's on record that it wasn't Nixon that opened it up. He just made the alliance public. So quantify, when you say cult, people always say who runs it, what runs it. It's different bloodlines, different elites that resonate with this anti-human, destructive force, and that they have built China up. I mean, 90% of it didn't have electricity 60 years ago, into this juggernaut. Who is the cult? And then continue, because it's not debated that the CIA put Mao Zedong into power. Who is the cult? What is their plan for China?
Okay, so if people just imagine a massive spider's web around the world, and there's a spider in the middle. Now that spider ultimately are these astral demonic forces. The strands immediately around the spider are the most secretive secret societies that will know pretty much all that's happening. As you come out from the spider, still in the hidden, you're coming into the secret societies we know of, the Freemasons, the inner core of them, the Knights of Malta, the Knights Templar, the inner core of the Jesuit order, on and on. Skull and Bones is an expression of it in America, of course. And as you come out, you eventually reach what I call the cusp in the web. And this cusp is where the hidden meets the seen. And at that cusp are the Bilderberg Group, the World Economic Forum, the explosion of think tanks and Soros-funded, often non-governmental organizations, the Trilateral Commission, the Council on Foreign Relations, the other expressions of that network as well. And their job at the cusp is to take the agenda coming through the hidden from the spider and play it out into the public arena, the world of the seen, through corporations and Silicon Valley and governments and banks and World Health Organization and so on. And so when you see that, and you then start to see that what appear to be random, unconnected corporations, World Health Organization, Silicon Valley, and so on, CDC, Big Pharma, if you go deep enough in these organizations and companies, you meet that level of them which connects to the web.
Stay there, because with the hearings last few months and this judge's ruling, that just came out. Intelligence agencies, government, big tech, media, all working behind the scenes in secret to surveil and suppress the speech of Americans. We know it's the same thing overseas. So there is some good forces fighting back. Why is it coming to the surface? That tells me evil is not fully in power. Incredible first hour of the David Icke. Hour number 2 straight ahead, davidicke.com. Find his new book there. And that is the dream. Find my book at InfoWarsStore.com. We'll be right back. July 4th, 2023 is here. Declare independence against the globalists, against Klaus Schwab, against the WEF, against the UN and their new worldwide medical treaty claiming control over not just our nation states' medical systems, but our very bodies. Declare independence against the federal government that's been captured at the top by globalist operatives. Declare independence against Big Pharma and GMO and Bill Gates. Declare independence against Satan and his entire operation against you and your family. And the place to join the resistance, to fight the New World Order, and to get the latest information and intel is Infowars.com, Newswars.com, and Band.video. And if you can't share those links because of Big Brother, you can share currently a URL they're not blocking, MadMaxWorld.tv. We're fighting hard, you're fighting hard. And I want to salute you all on this July 4th, 2023, and encourage you all to spread the word about Infowars.com and get amazing products at InfoWarsStore.com today. That's InfoWarsStore.com. Declare independence from tyranny now. All right, some stations don't carry this first 5 minutes, but the internet does. So I'm going to ask David to talk about any topic he wants for 5 minutes. And then when we come back from break, we'll continue with that key point he hit at the end of the hour just minutes ago about these webs of control between corporate and government that look separate but are actually the same group, the cult. Such an important point. He'll finish in about 5 minutes. But David, in this little 5 minutes, what is it like to be vindicated completely?
Well, like you said earlier on in the show, it gives you no pleasure to see what you said was coming to have arrived. Because, people say, how did you know? Well, my answer to that is because it's not random. You know, if you're saying this is what's going to happen and it's all random, well, what's the chances of you getting it right or anything close to being right? You get it right because it's a plan. And if you uncover the plan, you can predict the future. But you're not actually predicting the future. You're predicting the future if there's no intervention by humans on the plan. And so the more this plays out in the way that you kind of say this is what is planned and it happens, it's a bit disappointing, really, because the idea of what I do, what we do, is to alert enough people to stop that happening, to make sure it doesn't play out. And like I said earlier, though, it has to get really bad to concentrate enough minds, and we are moving into that area now. I mean, after COVID, more and more people came, but more and more people will when they start to see that actually it's not a myth, it's not a theory, it's actually happening. But it's like I say, I want to emphasize that it's not about predicting the future. It's about predicting the plan. And the idea is the plan doesn't become the future because enough people intervene. So to answer the question, it gives you no satisfaction, really. I mean, it does give you confidence that you're on the right track and that what you're doing and how you're researching and how you're coming across all this is valid because it turns out that it's true. But it's not something you want to be. I mean, I don't want to be here a few years from now, as I will be, by the way, and having this chat and saying, well, you know, people are now being connected to AI en masse. You know, I told you that was coming. That's no satisfaction at all. If you can avoid it happening by human intervention, that's the real reason we do what we do, of course.
And I totally agree. What you said, I've interviewed probably 50 times, been very blessed to be at some of the same events as you and have dinner with you when we cover Bilderberg together and some other times. But what you just said is the most important thing ever. We're not predicting the future. It's a set plan that if we let them continue to hijack the train or the plane, we're going to go to the destination they want. But of course, none of it's random. We're able to predict what's going to happen once we study their operations because they are in somewhat control now. But more and more, they're not in control. And that's really the most important part. We're not just hijack bystanders here. If we get engaged and informed, we collectively can take control of our destiny together and take it away from these people.
Well, it's a very simple thing. It's mathematics. I mean, get yourself, people, a pocket calculator. Tap in 8 billion people and then take away the handful relative to 8 billion that are running the show. And I think I see a way out of this. The idea.
Wouldn't you say it's maybe 1,000 people that are in on the whole conspiracy?
I think, Alex, that if you get to the core of the core of the core of the core, you'd get them in a single room. But the thing is that their power is only in manipulating people to give their power to them. They have no power. Clearly, a handful relative to the population can't have power over the population without the acceptance and acquiescence of the population. So that's what we're working towards, obviously.
Stay there. We're going to come back to where you got cut off 6 minutes ago and the last hour ended when you were saying it's all out in the open, that it's compartmentalized, spider web. Finish up that important point when we come back in 60 seconds. All right, I don't say this to be on a power trip because it's the opposite. I say it so people pay attention and really think about what's happening. Together on this show right now, David Icke was awake before I was, and I've obviously been as successful as he has in getting people to awaken to the New World Order, but he's really been the trailblazer on how the thing operates and what they would pull and what they would do. I would say in some ways I may have been more successful at actually reaching more people, but that's up in the air. It's not about keeping score here. We're all on the same team. Team consciousness, team freedom, team free will. But now it's out in the open that David's been hammering on for 30 plus years, that it's a spider's web and the corporations at the top act like they're different, but they're really on the same team, and that government is interfaced and governments look different, but most of the major governments are controlled by the same cult. And now that's really come out in the congressional hearings with all the big tech and the intelligence agencies censoring and surveilling and controlling. And there's really a great awakening to this. So you got cut off by the break at the end of the last hour, David, talking about that.
Yeah. So once you realize that these corporations and governments, court systems, judiciaries, banking systems, Silicon Valley, World Health Organization, World Trade Organization, are actually connected to this web. And of course, through compartmentalization, it means the vast majority of people in those organizations, indeed in those governments, have no idea there is a web. So you have this network which is connecting these organizations. Now, this explains a great deal. So when the COVID card was played, Silicon Valley announced that it was going to censor anyone that challenged the official story of COVID coming out of the World Health Organization. Now, if you look at that from a bigger picture point of view, you'd say, well, hold on a minute. You're supposed to be the town square where we all have our opinion and then people make up their mind what to believe. What are you doing? Announcing right at the start, you're going to censor anyone that challenges the World Health Organization narrative, because the World Health Organization is an asset of the cult. It was created by the cult through the Rockefeller family, not least, in 1948. And Silicon Valley is a cult operation. Therefore, the Silicon Valley corporations and platforms censoring on behalf of the cult narrative anyone that challenges the World Health Organization, a cult operation. Then you've got Big Pharma. Big Pharma is an absolute cult operation. And, it's a satanic organization, obviously, just as the cult is. So because you know that if you go deep enough in the CDC and the Food and Drug Administration in the United States, you're going to get to the point where they interact with the web. So that when Big Pharma comes along with Pfizer and Moderna, whatever, and asks the apparent regulatory agency of government supposed to protect the people from Big Pharma for permission to use their fake vaccine on younger and younger and more people, they're going to get it. Because what's happening is Big Pharma, the cult, is going to the CDC and the FDA, the cult, and asking for permission to advance a cult agenda. So obviously they're going to get it. So this is how it works. So now you start to see that while you are looking at banks, plural, you're actually looking at bank singular, not least coordinated through organizations like the Bank for International Settlements in Basel, Switzerland. So now you see why suddenly these different banks are all working as one to say, no, if you've got the wrong opinion, then you're not going to have a bank account. Now you look at the digital currency. Suddenly, all over the world, the central banks, coordinated through the Bank for International Settlements, are saying we want to introduce a digital currency. Why? How? How is it coordinated? Through the cult. This is how it works. Are we really believing that suddenly people all over the world in authority had the same idea of, I know, I've got a great idea. I woke up with it this morning. What we're going to do is we're going to put drag queens into schools. And we're going to get them to read stories, first of all, and then we're going to get them to strut their stuff as we expand it. This is cult organization. This is why the same things happen everywhere.
And of course, that's all admitted now that Bill Gates and the UN created global standardized systems for central bank digital currencies in the last decade with the Carnegie Foundation and the CIA. The U.S. government's quarterbacking the new UN treaty, which is really a U.S. treaty, just like the group that runs the U.S. created the UN. It's the same cult. When you get down to the Trilateral Commission, CFR, Bilderberg Group, it's the same 100 people that head up all the major organizations. Peter Hotez came out and said, oh, I don't take any money from Big Pharma. He just takes it from Bill Gates, and then he comes up with what Bill Gates wants. That gets recommended and adopted by government, then buys it from Bill Gates. So no, Big Pharma's not funding him. Hotez makes the corporate recommendations that then buy the product from Bill Gates, but Bill Gates funds Hotez in the research, and he lies to us like we're idiots. But what does it mean now that these judges are coming out and exposing this? I mean, because I don't think the elites are the elites. I don't think they're in total control. I think we're seeing the cracks in the system as more people in the system that were compartmentalized, David Icke, decide to not go along with it.
Well, yeah, that's a point. The system is so fiercely compartmentalized that people within it every day are contributing to this agendas playing out without knowing there even is an agenda. This is the point. And I remember speaking at an event in London a long time ago now. And a guy came up to me afterwards, and he was a retired leading executive of Shell Oil in South America. And he came to me, he said, I've just realized listening to you why so many things happened when I was working for Shell that I didn't understand at the time. And this is the compartmentalization. And what, the alternative media putting this information out, some of us decade after decade, of course, it's decompartmentalizing that structure, because people are getting it within the system from outside the system, and thus they want to silence us. So these people, these renegade people, who may not know the big picture at all, but they get that what they're being pressured to do is not what they should do. They are starting to rebel, and they're starting to say, no, I'm not going along with it. It was kind of interesting. I mean, I don't know how this is going to play out, but I was banned from 26 European countries by the Dutch government through the Schengen system. You're banned from one, you're banned from them all. And we've been challenging them in the courts. And we went to the district judge, first of all, and he did everything but walk into the bloody court with a rubber stamp, But we had another hearing a couple of weeks ago, and I don't know whether she's going to have the backbone to go all the way through with it. But I'm listening to this. I am obviously not allowed into the Netherlands, so I'm on kind of Zoom or something. And she started asking the government lawyer very forensic questions. And I'm going, whoa, this is a bit different. She wasn't having it. And the government lawyer was getting more and more flustered because he had no evidence. And then a few days later, she said, okay, I'll rule at the end of the month. A few days later, my lawyer in the Netherlands got a contact from her. And what's happened is she's actually looked into the law through which I'm supposed to be banned. And she found that the law has been changed. The Schengen law has been changed. So the law that they banned me with by interpreting it in the most ridiculous, ludicrous way. But anyway, the law that they used was actually removed in March. And she saw that, first judge didn't. She did, because she was forensic. She wasn't just rubber stamping. She was saying, actually, I want to know more about this and why you banned this.
Well, you always talk about that with your Bilderberg analogy, where you're in Europe and go to the Bilderberg group, and there's the military keeping you from going up the hill to cover it when they themselves are being oppressed. So here's this judge that's not acting as a repeater. She's actually going and doing research, being a human, and that breaks their control.
Yes, and we'll see if she's got the backbone, because basically, given what she's found, then the ban should be dismissed, but we'll see if she'll go against the Dutch government, which is seriously satanic and seriously fascist. I can't tell you. The Dutch government is one of the worst in the world.
Well, let's talk about that. Why are they, of course, their minister that says he's going to ban their farms and already banned a large part of them, saying nitrogen is bad when it's the largest part of the atmosphere. He's now been rewarded to be the UN head of food operations. Now, Ireland's announcing they're going to start banning their farmers. I mean, this is getting really naked when they're going to ban farmers and say they're, I mean, including plant crops. I mean, can you speak to cutting off the food agenda?
Yeah, well, if you're going to control people that don't want to be controlled, we're back to that third group again. Then you have to create a system of control called dependency. This is what the so-called universal basic income is about. It's about destroying jobs, not least through AI, but inflation and many other things, so that if you're going to survive, you have to have the universal basic income, and that will come with consequences. If you challenge us, I mean, just look at what the banks are doing now. If you challenge us, if you have the wrong opinion, you're not going to get it. So if you want to create dependency, thus control, you have to control that which people are dependent upon. And in the world that we live, apart from water and oxygen, it's food. So what they're seeking to do is control food. Now, Mark Rutte, the Prime Minister of the Netherlands, and all I'll say is look at his eyes and they'll tell you who he is. He is a gopher for Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum. And the World Economic Forum has this food hub plan. Or food hubs, so control of food, in other words. And Rutte actually made a speech in 2021 in which he said that the Netherlands is going to support the World Economic Forum food hubs. He said it at Davos. And that the Netherlands is going to be the headquarters of it. Because Rutte is a 100% cult operative. He's a gopher. He's nothing, up there, but he's absolutely doing the cult's bidding. So is Tony Blair. That's why when either of them open their mouth, Biden too, when he can open his mouth, they are speaking the agenda of the cult. How do we know what the agenda of the cult is? Well, what's Tony Blair calling for? What's Rutte calling for? What's the Biden administration calling for? That'll tell you. What's Ardern, when she was Prime Minister of New Zealand, calling for? This is how you know, because these cult gophers are telling you in the way that they are saying this is what needs to happen.
I totally agree. David, I've got so many questions I want to ask you here. But looking at this, I knew when I was reading their documents 30 years ago it was real. You knew it was real. I woke up to it from research. You woke up through revelation, which I think is the best way for it to happen. And I'm getting more reports from people that are getting thunderstruck, kind of like Saul on the road to Damascus, becoming Paul, gets hit by the bolt of light and, sees the light and has this download. Can you speak to the download you received And then because people want to know, I want to go back to the start. Like in the download you got, like, okay, there's this alien group. It's like reptoids. They kill children to open up dimensions. Because we know this is all going on. But go back to the beginning, because you were trying to download all this, and then, I mean, I know it's not that your views have changed, but your understanding of the information you've given has become, I would say, more focused or sophisticated as you're able to decode it. Because I've been, since then, I've not gotten massive downloads, but I've gotten big pieces, epiphanies, chunk after chunk, and you know when it's divine, when it's next level. But just getting into what makes David Icke work and what you were doing in life, top broadcaster, but a top goalie, hosted the top show in the UK. I mean, you were a big deal, and then all of a sudden you're on a trip to Peru and get thunderstruck. Speak to that.
Well, I can talk about the process of what's happening to people when they get this Damascus, as you describe it. I can certainly talk about that a little later. I hope I can, because it's easily explainable what's actually happening in those situations.
We'll talk about it now if you want, or I mean, whatever you want to say.
Okay, I'll talk about it now. Now we can talk about where I've come from a bit later. Yeah. Okay. So I'm describing earlier how the body is a biological computer, and actually it's a software program. And it comes into this world with a life program, which it will play out without the intervention of consciousness. And so you go along, and the five senses, because this is a simulation, not just a simulation in this level. What we call the astral is another part of the simulation. And so what you're doing is following the program, and all your perceptions of reality are coming in from the program through the media and what we call education and all this stuff. And you have a certain view of reality, not least through the left side of the brain, which sees everything as apart from everything else. And what happens when people have these revelatory moments, I had mine in Peru, as you say, is that consciousness connects. You open enough from the program, and you open your mind. If people just stopped believing and getting their perceptions of reality from five senses, from the five sense system, and just said this to themselves: look, I can see only a tiny fraction of the reality, infinite reality, called visible light. So how the hell can I know all there is to know, or as much as I need to know, from within that tiny band of frequency?
And listen, you've spoken to that. I'm saying it's the same question. What is it in your life, or the things you went through, that the universe chose you to have this big understanding of things that's turned out to be so accurate? Or are you just saying you randomly in the universe this just happened to you? Because I don't see it like that. I mean, go back to, because I think it's not two questions, it's one question.
I don't think it's random. I mean, my life has been so synchronistic that put me on this road in 1990 that I don't think it's random. But where I was just going is this: there's one thing that cannot be denied and cannot be dismissed, and that is that whatever we think we know at any point, there is always, always, always more to know.
Exactly.
And if you work from that, it's like, to paraphrase the Greek philosopher Socrates, wisdom is knowing how little we know.
Yes.
And thus, every minute you know there's more to know. So what is it that is more to know? Instead of sitting in this,
well, look at the corporate media. Look at the New York Times, the BBC. All of them have run the Atlantic Monthly. All of them. Do not ask questions. Do not do your own research. That's bad. Now people should know when you're told don't check things out, don't read the fine print. That's what the bad guy tells you.
Yeah, exactly. They don't want you to know because not knowing is their power. So when you start to look at life from that point of view, there's whatever I think I know, there's always more to know. What happens is your mind starts to open to other possibilities, at which point it starts to go beyond the 5 sense prison cell and you start to connect with expanded levels of consciousness, not some alien in a bloody spaceship, your own consciousness that you have been separated from by your focus of attention only in 5 sense reality.
Which the truth is you can plug your consciousness into the universe and beyond.
Well, we are the universe and beyond. That's the point. But we've been isolated, perceptually isolated, through various and many techniques in a 5 sense prison cell. So once you start to open your mind and let consciousness in, that's when you're tapping in to all this awareness and all this knowing that suddenly revelatory, I can see it now. Why didn't I see it before? Because you were there before.
Exactly, and I know you've been around a lot of these globalists. I have as well. They're like machines. Like you said, they're not happy people. They just follow a program. Is it possible to free people that have been under this control? Or once they get under the control, are they gone?
Anyone can open to consciousness. It's the choice. But the more you submit to the program, the more entrenched you become in the program. I mean, you'll meet people, and it doesn't matter how much information you put in front of them, how much evidence, they won't get it. They won't get it because literally they can't process that information because they can only process their program. But anyone can open up to it, and lots of people are. And you know what I'm finding, Alex? I don't know if you are, but people that are kind of new to this, some of them anyway, they can awaken in the way that I've described to an extent that they get it in such a way that they become further forward in their understanding that people maybe have been researching this for 10 years.
Absolutely. Because a lot of people are making instant jumps.
And this is what's happening. This is what's happening because as these truth vibrations, this frequency comes in, it's coming into the simulation through the astral. I mean, you know, this simulation, this world we call human, and even the astral on top, it's a mere smear of infinite reality.
Sure, the astral is just the interface to this little subdimension.
Yeah, it's a simulation. It's like a virtual reality game. The body and the brain is like a headset. And what you do when you open your mind and let consciousness in is you're effectively taking the headset off because you're overriding the program, and thus you can see things that you open your mind and let consciousness in is you're effectively taking the headset off because you're overriding the program, and thus you can see things that others can't see.
That's right. Take the headset off with David Icke. Take the face sucker off. We'll come right back with David Icke with another iconic segment. Stay with us. Infowars.com, DavidIcke.com. Check them both out. Speaking of support, we have the biggest sale of the year so far, the July 4th Super Sale going right now. And nitric boost is so good for your heart, your brain, your lungs, your cardiovascular. Everybody needs to clean out your blood and then to take on a routine basis. Plus, it does great things for your muscles, your stamina, your libido. It's amazing. It is in stock right now. Super Female Vitality is selling out. We got a good shipment of it in. The Super Male's sold out. But despite that, it's 60% off. Then, of course, we have super high quality, high spectrum support. I want to store it on energy. Best way. Energetic being, an eternal being, and you're going to choose what energy you resonate with is the best way to describe it. You can travel up into the higher consciousness, or you can be destroyed basically destroyed, being bound to agents of chaos. But David Icke, what do you think it's like? Because I think it's fascinating to be one of these globalists, like a King Charles or any of them, because they act buffoonish, they're moronic, they try to project power. But when you look at them, they're repulsive. And if you go online, King Charles is incredibly unpopular. Bill Gates is incredibly unpopular. Klaus Schwab is incredibly unpopular. And so it was one thing 10 years ago even, still if somebody was establishment, the average person thought they were powerful. The facade's already fallen, and they're like, I guess, wannabe Greek gods that need to be worshipped to exist. I feel like they've already been broken to a great extent, except we've got to face their temper tantrum that they're going to launch against us. I mean, from your study and research, what is it like to be possessed by these entities? Because you talk a lot about the satanic rituals, and now it's all out in the open with the children, and that they're doing this to be able to resonate closer to these avatars, these controllers. But what is it from your research like to be one of these people?
Well, these people are basically incarnate demons. You know, if you go back to what I said, Alex, about the biological body being a biological computer, what inhabits it is anything from an expanded state of awareness to a demonic, low vibrational moron. So it's what's inhabiting the biological computer. And in terms of this cult, particularly the inner cores of this cult and the major gophers, they are demonically possessed. I just say to people, look into the eyes, because the eyes are indeed the window on the soul, or the window on the no soul. And you can see in the eyes the nature of the entity that's behind them. Go and look at Mark Rutte, the Netherlands Prime Minister. Go and look at his eyes. Look at Gates's eyes. Look at all these people's eyes, and you'll see the demonic within them, because that's what they are. And what they're doing is hiding behind a biological computer system, a body, which looks like everyone else's. And so we look at them, people look at them, and they say, oh, they're a human. But it's not what the body looks like, it's what's inhabiting the body and driving its behavior and driving its perceptions. And one of the things about this demonic realm is that it has no capacity for empathy. It has no capacity for compassion. And thus, when one of these entities is inhabiting one of these cult gopher bodies, that behavior will reflect the fact that it has no compassion and has no empathy. This is why Gates can do what he's done in the COVID era to vast numbers of people who are now dead or have their health destroyed for life, and he will have no emotional consequence for that, because they're psychopaths. Psychopaths, if you look at the psychopathic traits, the top two are no empathy, not being able to put yourself in the feelings of those you're affecting, and no compassion. This is why these people are as they are. They're demonically possessed. And, you know, I just want to talk about two things, which I think are very relevant to many things that are going on. First of all, there's what people call God. And secondly, and I'll start with this one, is that when Morpheus in the Matrix held up a battery and said the machines, or to go to the wider quote, the Matrix is a computer-generated dream world. It's a simulation created or designed to turn human beings into one of these, a battery. It was a profound truth, because these entities, which are the fallen angels in the Bible, that's another thing about religion. You look at the common themes. What Christianity calls Satan or the devil is this force what Islam calls Iblis or Shaitan is this force. And therefore, they're all talking about the same thing without actually realizing it. So what's happening is this demonic realm is feeding off human energy. That's what it's doing. Now, what kind of human energy? This will explain a lot about the world. Because they're in a low vibrational state, they can only absorb low vibrational energy. Things like, expanded consciousness and high frequency states of being, it's never the twain shall meet. They're on different wavelengths. So they have to manipulate the human population to fall into low vibrational emotional and mental states of fear, of anxiety, of resentment, of hatred, of conflict, because that generates through the emotional and mental energetic expression that low vibrational energy which they feed on. When they're doing a sacrifice and they say we're sacrificing to the gods, what does that mean? It means that they're going through rituals, and this is why even today these cultists are using Babylonian rituals, ancient Egyptian rituals, etc., because they are designed specifically to generate the terror and the buildup of the terror in the sacrifice to the point where they're generating.
Because we got to do one more break, come up with a final segment with the iconic David Icke, DavidIcke.com. But since you raised that, we'll talk about Bohemian Grove, Skull and Bones, the CERN rituals that are going on. But before we go to break in 2 minutes, we know they want a bunch of slaves to feed off of. Then why do they want to depopulate us? Is that because they figured out that out of the mass of people, enough resistance is going to form and they can't keep control? They want to replace us with robots that serve them? Because they want to use us for psychic energy. Why at the same time they're trying to kill as many of us as possible?
Well, because their plan is to make it far, far more efficient. You see, if they're connecting AI, which is basically them, that's what it is, to the human brain, and what they're doing... They can then
terrorize and torture us and get way more energy off the individual.
Yeah, they are dictating our perception and emotional states, and thus we become basically machines to generate this low vibrational.
So the answer is what you just said. We're being converted from them doing it at an ambient level to them actually directly farming us.
Yeah, think the Matrix and the babies feeding the machines, the energy of the babies feeding the machines. That's what we're looking at. A technological version, an AI version of...
All right, stay right there, because he mentioned the occult rituals. Public satanic events at CERN, private ones, Bohemian Grove, Skull and Bones, and I look at it and I laugh until I realize how serious they are. When I've gone and infiltrated some of these events and covered them, they take it deadly serious. And why are they doing such ancient rituals over and over again? What is the paradigm? What is the signature? Why did they in the 2012 Olympics have Grim Reapers using a COVID virus to murder everyone in London? We'll show that when we come back. Why do they have to tell us what they're going to do before they do it? David Icke's our guest, and if 5G is opening up the dimensions for this, what is the Hadron Superconducting Supercollider doing in Europe? David Icke, DavidIcke.com. His new book drops very, very soon. The newest one's The Trap. The latest one that's about to come out is The Dream. Find it all at DavidIcke.com. I'm Alex Jones, Infowars.com. We'll be right back. Final segment with the amazing David Icke. I'm Alex Jones, your host. You'll find our coordinates at Infowars.com and InfoWarsStore.com. Thank you all for your support. All right, David, getting into the occult, because you raised this, and I had the crew hours ago going, get Bohemian Grove ready, get Skull and Bones ready, get the CERN rituals together. I'm going to bring up, why do they do these stupid rituals? Because, I stuck into Bohemian Grove, was laughing at the ritual until I saw that the men were shaking in beyond anything I ever saw at Holy Roller churches I went to when I was a kid. They were completely possessed during it. You look at CERN, everywhere they're doing classical, ancient, occultic rituals. Why are they doing it, David Icke?
Well, first of all, I've studied this, and I've talked to many Satanists and former Satanists around the world over these decades, and these cult gophers, shall we say, are terrified of the demons. They're terrified, and they are frightened of the consequences of failing them. They really are. And what's happening in these rituals is they are what can happen is that these rituals, if you're talking about a ritual around, say, a single individual, the ritual can create a vibrational bridge or connection between the person and the demonic entity. And this allows that demonic entity to come through into this reality and possess the person. And there's so many of these, satanic rituals, all the people involved are literally possessed. And like I said earlier, what these rituals are doing from a sacrifice to the gods point of view is producing the energy from the sacrifice that these entities in the astral feed off. So, you can see someone being emotional with your eyes, because that's happening within 3D. But the energy that emotional response is giving off, you can't see. You might be able to feel it, but you can't see it because it's astral. And so in that astral realm, these entities are feeding off the terror and the fear of the sacrifice. And in this realm, that terror manifests chemically as adrenochrome and adrenaline. And thus the Satanists in this realm will drink the blood and get adrenochrome rush, because it's like a rush to them. And it's the chemical expression of the terror that the entities in the astral are feeding off. And so that's why they do it. And in these various rituals, you can do it that way, or you can actually create an energetic environment that bridges the two realities so the demonic entity can possess the person. And this is an interesting point that I've found over the years. We see a hierarchy. We'll see a prime minister, a deputy prime minister, a president, a deputy president, a leader of the house, and all that. So you see the human hierarchy. But within this,
I didn't know that it was an incantation. I had no idea. Something came out of that phone and stopped my heart. I saw the entity, I saw it all, and it came and it literally shot through me and it stopped my heart. He said, just so you know, that's very rare to somebody to send that against you. That means like you had to be literally assassinated. And he said, and just so you know, that required blood. This is Jamie Walden. You're watching End Times Productions. I don't know if you're familiar with Russ Dizdar and his work, but he speaks a lot about the Black Awakening, right? And these things coming onto the earth. Men's hearts failing in for fear what they see coming on the earth. So there was one night, I'll try to make it brief because I know I'm long-winded, but I had done an interview on a show with a Hollywood film producer guy in Hollywood who's now a believer, and he must have had somebody in the viewer that was high level occultic person. I don't know. So I get off the interview. It's like 11 o'clock at night. I go upstairs. I'm literally standing in my chones, right? Standing in my chones, getting right at the foot of the bed. My wife's already in bed, and I'm like scrolling through my emails. I'm like, oh, this is weird, So I'm in my underwear, right? I click on the email, and I'm like, this is such a weird, and I was like, listen to this email, this is weird. I didn't know that it was an incantation. I had no idea. And I was like, this email is jarred, but it's like, I am blah, 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 projected right now on the backside of the moon. My name is this and that, and blood and this, and blah. Like, it was all this. And I'm like, this is so weird. Dude, when I read the last word, boom, I kid you not, like something out of a Hollywood movie, something came out of that phone and stopped my heart. it stopped my heart and knocked me off my feet, and my phone went flying across the room, and I was like, oh, Jesus, like I could barely get it out, right? It was like, and I saw it, and I saw the entity, I saw it all, and it came and it literally shot through me, and it stopped my heart. And I went into like I could barely even speak. I was like trembling, like I couldn't. I'm a war fighter, dude. Like, and I was like out of my mind with fear. And whatever this thing did is it put fear on me. I don't know how to explain. Like, it put fear on me, like dread. And so I'm like, and I'm on my back, and the phone's, and my wife's like, she didn't know what was going on. She just heard me like start like babbling out of my mind, like trying to cry out to Jesus. So she just started praying. Like, she just knew, like, oh, this is big leagues. Like, she just started praying. And I just started praying, and I was like, I was so undone with fear because they put it on me. It wasn't natural. It wasn't a normal fear response. And it took about 30 seconds or a minute, and I shook out of it, and I was like, I yelled this out in the middle of it. I'm like, you done effed up. I was like, ooh, I know who my God is. And I was like, just started imprecatory prayer. Like I couldn't believe what got put on me. And it dawned on me, if that's what they can put on me, then what happens when we put the dread of the Lord on them? The Lord says, I will be to them like a dread warrior. And dread and I started, like, these verses started flooding my mind, started praying. I mean, of course I was like shaking out of control. Call Russ Dizdar right away. Russ, this is just what happened to me, and blah, blah, blah. And like, I don't understand. And like, I've never felt anything like it. And he knew instantly. I won't even say the name because I don't want anybody to look. He knew the name. He knew the practice to get there. And I usually tear up speaking about it, but he said, just so you know, that's very rare to somebody to sin that against you, and that means like you had to be literally assassinated. And he said, and just so you know, that required blood. There's no other way for that to get sent to you like that. And I just started weeping, like, oh God, like, bring your justice in the land, right? And I'm going somewhere with this about men's hearts failing them for fear of what they see coming onto the earth. And so he was explaining to me what's going on. We started praying. He called over his whole team. This was on Zoom. You know, he's out in Ohio at the time before he passed away. He brings his team. We're all praying. We're wrestling this out. I'm like, this is what it looked like. This is what it did, and blah, blah, blah. This is what the incantation. He's like, I know exactly who that is, what that is. And he said, that actually is an assassination. And he said, he's known all kinds of people that have physiologically died when that thing got sent to him. He goes, if there is any chink in your spiritual walk, if you're a phony at all, if you're using the name of the Lord, if you have hidden sin issues, if you're looking at porn and nobody knows if you do it, he said, it would have killed you. It would have killed you. That thing always kills the recipient. And he goes, praise God that you're walking closely with the Lord, and stuff like that. And he's like, there's another way. So then, going somewhere. So then I would literally have, like, I've been a war fighter, fire, EMS, blah, blah, blah. Never had PTSD from anything. Dude, I was scared in the middle of the day to walk around the house. I was scared to death. I was scared to turn off a light. I was scared of noises. I didn't want to go read. I didn't want to go sit in a room by myself. I wanted people around me. Like, I was legit, like, I've never felt that before. So then finally I went into a fast. This went on for 2 weeks, and I couldn't shake this thing. And finally I went into a fast, and I said, Lord, I know that calamity cannot come upon a nation or a person unless you've decreed it. And I know nothing can come against me unless you've allowed it. I've read the book of Job. I know they have to ask permission to come against your son or your daughter, right? And I'm like, God, what was that? Why did you allow that to happen to me? And plain as day, he said, now you know. I said men's hearts will fail them for fear. I wasn't kidding. That was the response. So, physiologically dead, like actually die from fear. That's what that verse means. You will actually die. Your heart will fail you for fear when it breaks out. And I said, why did you let me see that, God? Why did you let that happen to me? I kept asking questions in prayer. And he said, very clear. I've written down in my journal. He was like, so now you can testify with authority. So that's a perfect question for you to ask, dude, because not very many people ask that question. He's like, now you can testify with authority. I think it's hyper spiritual. It's not necessarily like, oh, UFO. That's going to create anxiety. That'll create some physiological fear response. I think it's the things coming up onto the earth and what they're capable of in the spirit. It says they'll torment men and they'll seek death but not find it. What's that all about? And why can't they die? Is that transhumanism? Does that go back to the genetic, what is it? What do you mean they won't die? And why are they seeking death and what's going on? But then men's hearts will fill them for fear of what they say. And what's it say? For the powers of heaven will be shaken. Like he's coming to do war against the principalities. He's coming to do war against the rebels, the rebel insurgents of old. He's coming to do war against them, and they're going to do war against the object of his love, us. So I think it's so much more gnarly than what people understand. Again, if you are not rooted in Christ, you will be overcome. Wait a minute, you're disarmed, foe, and I've been given all power in Christ Jesus to trample on you, and the dread of the Lord be upon you. And when I pray, this is going on to you. So that's what you can do to me? Dude, what's going on in the spiritual realm when we pray? Like, what's going on? It's like Elijah with his servant, like, oh, God, open his eyes so he can see. Like, why are you fearful? His eyes, like, dude, there's warriors all around me. There ain't nothing coming against us, right? Like chariots of fire all around. And I think if the Lord allowed us, or if we sought the Lord intimately enough to actually understand who we are to Christ, who we are in Christ, who Christ is in us, I am in you as you're in me, as I'm in the Father, I'm in you. Like, think about that. Like, it's all smoke and mirrors. Notice it's the valley of the shadow of death. Why is it the shadow of death? It's a holographic projection. It's not real. It's a shadow. It's not real. It's a holographic projection of death because there is no death in God. It's the valley of the shadow of death. So it literally tries to block the light and just create an obscure shadow. You don't really know what it is. You can't really make it out. But you can run right through it back. It can't do anything to you. It's just a shadow. It's literally has no power and no effect on you. That's the same thing that's going on with the powers of darkness against believers all day long. They just don't know who they are in Christ. And they don't know how to get in the fight and stay in the fight. It says, let perseverance finish its work so that you can be mature and complete, lacking nothing. It's like, get in the fight and you stay in the fight until mission accomplishment. Well done, good and faithful servant. Mission accomplished.
So you think this is going to happen on a large scale?
Absolutely. I think Black Awakening and Apollyon or Apollos opening the bottomless pit and things, transgenic, things coming out to torment, hollow earth, whatever. I mean, but it's like they are coming. They're coming to torment. They're coming in big leagues, And so obviously there's all kinds of forms of speculation. What is that? I've heard guys say that'll be the Greys, and then the Nordics will come. And that'll be the great deception is the transgenic things will be like the gray aliens making war, and then the Nordics come and restore order by doing it. That's the deception, because then you'll marvel after them, you'll give yourself over to them, and they're here to lead you into the next evolutionary process of the human species to make you like God, same life from the garden, right? To usher us in, because we're archaic Neanderthal things that are destroying each other with nuclear weapons. And by the way, that's the whole green movement. Sustainable development is all rooted in getting ready for those guys. That is all sowing the seeds of the deception of you are an ant that should be stomped on, and you're even destroying your own planet with all your global warming stuff, and you're destroying each other with nuclear weapons, and you're destroying each other with these technologies you don't understand, and you're destroying each other with religions, and you're destroying each other with differences with all your races and nationalities. No borders, no whatever, one government, one religion, one economy, one whatever. Oh, and we're here to help lead you into the next evolutionary process of humanity. So, all that to say that not to get off topic, but as far as the men's hearts failing for fear of what they see coming on the earth, I think it's going to be beyond what people understand. I mean, seeing Apophis in the sky, it's going to cause some people's hearts to fail them, right? A fake, whether it's Project Bluebeam or whatever, alien invasion or real alien invasion or some kind of manifestation of these things that the powers of darkness are creating and working in co-partnership with our elites and our scientists and stuff and the dumbs, could be that. Things coming out of the earth, we know they're coming out. Like it says it's plain as day, right? Which, by the way, CERN is built right over the ancient area of Apollyon or Apollos, where he was venerated as a god. That's where they built the CERN, hydrogen collider. But anyways, it's coming, and the Lord people can take it with a grain of salt, the viewers or whatever. That's fine. All I can tell you is what happened to me and what the Lord revealed to me 2 weeks after the fall. People can reach me or contact me at omegadynamics.org or calicobuffalobasecamp.com. And obviously, Omega Dynamics is our Omega Dynamics, the powerful and effectual actions of the redeemed of the Lord at the end of all things. Oh yeah, you can also find sermons and different teachings, the ones that aren't behind paywalls for other people's proprietary information, on YouTube, just under Jamie Walden.
What do you fear? Not with a wonderful, benign young man who has yet to realize his full potentiality as a world leader. The black nobility love this young man. And lastly,
Beetle, come on in.
No, you're coming,
No,
Beat.
you're
Come on.
coming. They're staying. They can sit out. They can sit out here.
Fuck him.
Fuck him, right? Exactly. Fuck them. Good.
They gotta go in.
Yeah, let them fuck themselves. No. You guys sit out here.
Let you guys go in.
Tell them.
Come on,
I'm
Beat.
not coming in there.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
Yes,
I'm
you
just
are.
the referee. I'm not
No,
going
you're
in
coming
there.
with me, though. What's going on, man?
Not me. You're not talking to me.
I'm talking to you.
No, you're not.
Oh, I'm talking to you.
No, you're not.
I'm talking to you.
No, you're not.
Then who am I talking to?
Not me.
If I'm not talking to you, who am I talking to?
Not me. Not me.
Yes, I am talking to you.
No, you're not.
How come I'm not talking to you?
Talk to them.
I want to talk to you, though.
Not me. Talk to them.
Please, can I talk to you?
Not me.
What's the matter, B? You okay?
I ain't talking to nobody.
You in a good mood today?
Nope.
Why not?
Cause I ain't.
How come you ain't in a good mood?
Cause I ain't.
What are you eating today? What are you
Don't
eating,
worry
bro?
about what I'm eating.
B, it's me. It's Rich, your friend.
I don't care.
But I'm your friend. Could you just tell me what you're doing down here today?
I don't know, and I don't want to be.
You don't want to be here? If you couldn't be here, where would you rather be?
I don't care where I've been. I'll be out on where I'm at.
All right, B, what do you got for breakfast, bro? You want a beer or anything?
Nah,
All right, man. You want to have a cigarette?
maybe.
You're not mad at me, are you?
No.
Yeah,
I
'cause
just don't
I'm
want to
bored.
be around here, that's all.
Okay, could you do me one favor? And then I'll leave you alone, okay? Could you say, hey, it's Beetlejuice, I don't want to be here.
I know, I ain't gonna be here.
Could
And
you
I
just
ain't-
say, it's Beetlejuice and I don't want to be here.
I don't want to be here, and I don't want to be.
Are you mad at Howard?
I don't care who he is. I don't care.
All right, Beetle. I'm gonna leave you alone.
Yeah, you can leave me alone for a little while.
I'll come back in a little bit.
Yeah,
All
let's
right.
talk to these guys.
Thanks, man. Beetlejuice, you know who's here?
I don't want to know nothing.
That's Gilbert, Beetlejuice.
I don't care. I don't want to know nothing.
You want to say hi to Gilbert?
I don't want to know nothing.
What do you think of Beetle? What do you think of Gilbert, Beetle?
I don't know nothing. I don't want to know nobody.
Do you like him?
No. No, I don't know nobody.
Have you seen his movies?
I never did and I never will.
No desire to see his films, too.
Have you seen his commercial? He goes, Aflac. Have you seen that one?
Good for him.
Artie just moved his bowels in the bathroom. Everyone's telling me he's having problems today.
Really?
Yeah. What's going on, Art?
I have stomach issues.
No.
What's going on with you, Arthur?
Oh, I don't know. No, it's just actually this is well, I'll say the second time in 4 years I've had to. And I don't know, man. That bathroom is. That's rough.
Tough. That's a rough gig.
It's not inviting, is it?
Yeah.
You have to. You know what you have to do, Howard? You have to mentally psych yourself.
Plus, everyone's following you in there to see what you're doing.
Well, yeah, the case comes in the case back of it right away. But you really do have to really get in the. Like I'm sitting here going, okay, it's over. I have to use the bathroom. And then you go on the next round. It's right here.
Yeah, like getting a diaper.
A little bit. Oh, right in that bathroom, huh? Oh.
And then I go in there and I worry the Beetlejuice is in the next stall.
Is he? No.
But I'm saying, maybe he just used it.
I wish Beetlejuice would use this stall.
That's right. Actually, I'm thinking I should do the Beetlejuice option. I'll just wear a diaper to work. I'd rather than go in there.
Did you have time to fully clean up, or is it pretty messy?
Yeah, no, I did.
Yeah. Because there's nothing wet to use back there when you know what I mean? Like, what did you use? Dry toilet paper? And that toilet paper is like the cheapest crap.
About 400,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like sandpaper.
I had to flush like 8 times.
Beetle's been waiting, and I know Gilbert's coming in, and we have to do news. So you know, I don't want to be disrespectful to Beetle. But why don't you bring Beetle by? Everyone says he's in a foul mood.
Uh-oh.
Bad mode.
Who's he upset with now?
I think he's just upset. Here he is. This is Beetlejuice. And he's all freaked out about us talking about his diaper. That's the other
Hey,
thing.
so stop wearing one. We realize you can get along without one.
He doesn't want to talk about it, he said.
It's not. That's the most important thing we have to talk about.
No, you bring it up. I feel bad for the guy.
Sal should be the one to bring it up. Sal spilled the beans on him.
Right. I'll say it. It's not me, it's Sal. Where's the beat? Come on. Why didn't he want to come in? What's going on now? I told you he's in a bad mood.
Ooh. He doesn't even want to talk.
How come Beat doesn't want to come in?
He's not in that good a mood.
Beat's in a bad mood? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We're in for trouble.
Yeah, maybe we better lay off the diaper talk.
B, what's wrong, pal? You don't want to come in? Beat? Oh, Beat can't hear me. Put on the headphones, Beat. Hey, Beat. How you doing, man?
Yeah.
Hey, Beat. Hey, Beat. Hey, Beetle.
How you doing?
How you doing, brother?
All right.
Well, I heard you didn't want to come in. What did I do?
Nothing.
Well, you're in a bad mood today, huh? Hey, it happens to all of us.
Hey, you're not in the, this is show business, Beetle.
I don't care about no little business. I don't care.
Howard, you know.
But seriously, if you're going to be a guest on the show, you got to come in and be happy and, be peppy. Right?
Some days you walk in and you go, like, walk down the hall and I go, hey, Beat, how you doing? He goes, hey, what's up? Today I'm like, hey, Beat, how you doing? He's like, go F yourself.
Oh,
a lot of
wow. What happened? Something bad happened to you?
I don't care what he says about me. I don't care.
Who? Oh, we mean when Sal brought up about the diaper?
I don't care.
That's it. I knew it.
I don't care what they say.
Hey, it wasn't me, man. That was Sal, and that's your buddy.
Why don't you just straighten it all out right now?
I ain't straight.
Do you want to tell Sal?
They want to do what they want to do. Let them do what they want to say. I don't care. That's why I left.
Oh. Well, hey, Sal, why don't you come in and apologize to Beetlejuice?
I left. That's why I ain't got nothing to say.
I'm going to make him apologize. I'm going to make...
Yeah, I mean, we'll straighten this out.
Beetle, listen to me. I'm going to make
I ain't going to argue.
Beetle, I'm going to make the guy apologize to you right now.
I ain't going to argue. I ain't going to argue over nothing.
Look.
Oh, my goodness.
He's dressed like Beetlejuice. Get on the microphone. Stand up. Sal, apologize to Beetlejuice about what you said.
Beetle, I am so sorry about talking about the diaper. I love you dearly. I think you're the greatest. I think you're a superstar, a comedic legend. You are an icon to the show. And I promise you I will never bring up you wearing a diaper ever again.
I'll let you slide, though.
Thank you.
Well, that's nice. Well, look at him, Beetle. What is he dressed up like?
To commemorate your greatness, I have dressed up as you today. I am Sal Juice.
Sal Juice.
Or prune juice.
Isn't that nice?
That's on you.
Sal
To
Juice.
commemorate your diaper, I am prune juice.
What happened, Beat? You're in such a bad mood. I hate to see you like this, pal.
Well, that's how I am.
I'll make a deal with you. Whenever you're in a really bad mood, don't come in. You don't have to do that.
Did you not want to come here today?
I don't know.
Sound like you're breathing heavy.
Yeah.
You all right? You have a cold?
Nah.
All right.
I'm all right.
Is your diaper too tight?
Oh, stop.
Ah, come on. You see?
No, I
Look at this guy.
Beetle.
Yeah, look at him.
He's a jerk.
Beetle, show him that you're not wearing a diaper.
No, I'm not wearing no diaper.
Prove it. Show him. Put him to shame.
As a matter of fact, I'm fine with him not proving it.
Yeah, you know what? Don't prove it.
Beetle, I love you dearly. I mean that.
What would make you feel better?
What can I do? Nothing that I can do.
Beetle, you have something coming up called the Beetle Bash. What is that?
I don't know.
No.
Hey, Beetle, you got to hear this idea I have. I take everyone in the whack pack. You, Gary the retard, all these people. You know, Wendy, all of them. I put you guys in a room. And you know how the Pope just got elected? You guys walk out, only one person can be elected Pope.
Pope or dope?
Dope. I mean, dope. What do you think of that?
Sounds good to me.
You would do that? All right. You're in then. All right.
You're into the whack clave.
So you're doing a thing called Beetle Bash, which is being promoted now.
Right.
Yeah, that's why you're here today. I don't understand what a Beetle Bash is.
I don't know. It's like a boxing match.
Oh, it's the boxing match.
Again with the boxing?
Yeah, it's still on, but I don't know. But
I hope you don't get hurt.
no, I never get hurt.
It's fake, right?
It's all fake.
Right.
It's great, Howard.
Who are you fighting?
Oh, I ain't fighting nobody.
Oh.
You're going to go to a boxing match and not fight anyone?
No.
He's going to fight his diaper.
Well, I don't know what it is, but I'm very excited about it. I really am.
You should fight Sal, I think.
You want to fight me now, Beat?
I don't want to know.
Nah, come on.
Now, who are you angry with? Are you angry with Sal?
No, I'm just not angry with nobody.
You're angry with someone. This is not the Beetlejuice I know and love.
I think at this point, every African American should be angry with Sal.
Are you angry with Gary?
I don't know, maybe.
No.
Maybe
Doug?
it's Gary.
I think I know what he's angry at.
What?
Go ahead.
He's angry at the e-camera, I believe. I was just in the green room talking with Bob Levy with no camera around. The camera walked
I'm angry
in.
at the e-camera, too, to tell you the truth. It never makes me look right.
You look great.
I'm angry at every camera.
So when the camera came in, he like shut down.
So, what were you just telling me?
Nothing, no.
About the hemorrhoids.
No, mine.
What, now you're going to be camera shy? Where'd you have your hemorrhoids?
Don't worry about where I had it at.
Where you are? Now the camera says you don't want to
I
tell
don't
me?
give a fuck about the camera.
But where are your hemorrhoids?
I don't care. I ain't telling.
Where's it hurt? You already told me.
I ain't not telling.
All right, well, I know.
Beal.
I know.
Remember my hemorrhoids when I had it in the back of my neck?
Where are your hemorrhoids, bro?
Don't worry about where
All
mine
right,
was.
all right.
He has
You don't
hemorrhoids.
wanna
He was
show
just
off
telling
your
us about his
hemorrhoids?
hemorrhoids on his balls.
Yeah.
And they cut him off and put him in the refrigerator.
The doctor cut him off, and he's got him in the refrigerator right now.
Are you mad at the camera because you feel the camera puts on 20 pounds and makes you look odd?
Well, I hate cameras, but you know.
Me too.
Really?
Me too.
I didn't know this. When did you start hating cameras?
Because I wanted to. That's why.
Oh.
I got to tell you something. He has a very interesting medical condition. He has hemorrhoids.
Oh,
Pete, you got hemorrhoids?
Nah.
Yeah, you were just telling me and Bob Levy. In
Why?
The green room.
I didn't study that because it's a damn joke?
Howard, ask them to show you where they are.
Yes.
What? Where are your hemorrhoids?
They're not in the usual place.
Nah.
Where are they?
They're
Show me, Beat.
Nah, I just.
Show me your
Just
hemorrhoids.
point to it. Just point to it.
Point to your hemorrhoid.
Nah, I
Where
didn't
they
make
were
that up.
before they cut
It's
him
a
off.
joke.
Oh, it's a joke. He's joking with you. Come on.
These guys can't even take a joke, can they?
No, they can't take a joke. They're so stupid they can't take a joke.
It sounds like they just got outwitted by Beetlejuice.
Pete, I know we don't have a lot of time with you today, so take a few calls from your fans and let's call it a day, all right? And we'll promote the Beetle Bash, whatever that is.
Whatever you want to do, man.
All right. That sounds fair enough. Let's go to Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice, you're on the air.
Hello?
Hi.
Not me, pal.
Well, wait a minute. Is that you on the phone, or is it you?
Beetlejuice.
This is Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice.
Wait a second, Beetlejuice. I thought you were Beetlejuice.
That ain't me. I'm Beetlejuice.
Guy says he's Beetlejuice.
You wish. I don't care if my name is Beetlejuice. I want you to say your name, too.
What's your name?
Pete, tell this guy off, please.
I'm real Beetlejuice. What else? Nobody don't go cross me. You sound like, what do you sound like, a girl or something? Well, if you're going to say my name, I say my name.
Well, this guy says he's the real Beetlejuice.
You think I'm a goddamn joke?
Does that sound like you?
Nah.
No. All right.
You could be Beetlejuice. I could be Doug.
All right, Beetlejuice. I don't know which one is the real Beetlejuice, but...
Don't tell no lies.
All right, thank you. Let's go to Joe. Joe, you're on the air with the great Beetlejuice.
Yeah, I'm a Beetle fan. I just want to know, have you poopied in your pants yet today?
What was that?
Have you poopy in your pants today yet?
Me or Beat?
Beetlejuice.
Oh, Beat, have you poopied in your pants today?
Did I poop in my pants?
Yeah.
Nah.
No. He says no.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you for the question. Marianne from Brooklyn, go ahead.
Cheer up, Beat. I'm going to sing the Star Spangled Banner next week with him, Howard, at the Beetle Bash. Sean invited me.
What is the Beetle Bash?
It's like, I think, a fight with High Pitch Eric and John the Stutterer and Beetlejuice and somebody else, and they're going to have a Howard Stern, some kind of contest.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
and Artie, can I be in your movie, Artie, free of charge?
Hey, I learned something about Beat that we didn't know. Beat, I learned your birthday is May 34th.
34th?
Is that true?
It's true.
Yeah.
Then it's coming up.
Right. Your birthday's coming up.
Yeah.
How old are you going to be?
34.
Yeah.
Not only is he going to be 34, what year were you born, Beetlejuice?
I was born in 1936.
There you go.
I thought so with you. Yeah. Well, good for you. Let's take one last call, Pete, because people are anxious to speak to you. Phil, go ahead. You're on the air.
Hi, it's Phil the Fag. Hi, Beetle.
All right, Phil the Fag, what's your question for Beat?
Oh, Beetle and I are lovers.
You're saying that Beat has a gay lover?
Yes. Right, Beat? Tell him how we make love.
Beat, who is this guy? Is this guy your lover?
You got a boyfriend?
You don't have a boyfriend, right?
No.
Why is
Beetle, try to tell them how you gently kissed me on the neck and licked my ear.
This guy says you kissed him on the neck and the ear. That's
Who is this guy? What is gay?
Yes, you and I were gay last night, Beetle. You made love to me.
Were you with him last night?
Me? Hell no.
You were with this guy. You were never with a man.
Hell no.
Oh, my.
Beetle, tell him how you like me to put you in your diaper and spank you and feed you a bottle.
You must got your own damn diaper.
All right. Who would say such a thing? That Beetle is gay.
And Beetle likes to lick my toes, too.
You lick this guy's toes?
He must be out of his mind.
You know this guy at all?
Hell no.
Is he lying?
I don't know where this guy coming from.
What are you saying, Phil?
Well, Beetle liked to lick toes, but he bit my toenail right off, and now my toe hurts, and I'm aggravated.
Did you bite his toenail off?
I ain't touched the guy. I don't even know
You don't even know this guy. You don't know this guy. I mean, this effing guy. Okay. All right. Anyway.
Good appearance.
Good appearance, Pete. I know you were in a bad mood, but it looks like you're in a good mood.
Yeah, you
now.
look like you're cheering up.
You look like you're cheering up. I'm glad.
Now that you've heard from your boyfriend.
I ain't got no boyfriend.
Hey, you know Gilbert Gottfried?
Hell no.
The comedian?
Yeah,
The funny man?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you care?
Not me.
You got to see this guy. He looks funny.
I don't know. Look like an ugly ass motherfucker.
You ever see? No, don't say the F
Take
word.
it
You
easy
know that.
there, Beat, with the language.
Yeah, come on. You're being bad. You're being bad. Okay. Apology accepted. Oh, I understand Gilbert Gottfried is here. You want to meet him?
Hell no.
You don't?
No way.
You're not a fan? Oh, there he is. That's Gilbert. Don't he look funny?
I don't know. I don't know. No, I don't.
But there he
know
is.
nothing.
That's him. Right there. Famous.
Look at him. He's sitting right next to you.
He's famous. You ever hear the Affleck duck?
I don't know. I never heard it. I never will.
How about that movie that he was in where he played the bird?
Gilbert, tell Beetlejuice the movies you've been in.
Okay, you obviously have seen Problem Child.
Ain't no Problem Child here.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, how about Problem Child 2?
I never seen that. I never will.
Now, there's 3. That was on television. Aladdin.
Go for you, pal.
Yeah.
Hey, didn't you play a parrot?
Yes, I was a parrot.
Did you
in
ever-
Aladdin, Beetlejuice.
Did you ever see Aladdin?
Never did. I never will.
Hey, I noticed you guys are almost the same height.
Maybe you should box Gilbert.
I ain't got nothing to do with that.
He's famous, Beetle. He is famous.
Nothing to do with that.
All right. How
you
are
ever
you?
see that commercial with the paperclip, Gilbert?
I never will. Not never done it, and I never will.
Did you ever watch Hollywood Squares?
Never did.
Gilbert, you wear a diaper, though, don't you? Gilbert wears a diaper. I swear.
For him.
Good for him.
Wow.
He's not embarrassed.
Wait, I'm gonna impress you. I'm gonna impress you right now. Gilbert worked with Eddie Murphy.
Wow, go for him.
Well, goof for me or goof for Eddie?
Yeah, goofballs, go for you.
Well, goof for both of us then.
Hey, go for you, my man.
You know the Affleck duck, Beetle?
Do a little of your
I
Affleck
don't care
duck.
about no dog.
Okay. Can we have like a setup where people are talking about insurance?
Insurance, you got your own
no, you have to picture it.
Beetle,
like
listen to
two
this.
people will be like in an office talking about supplemental insurance, and then you see like legs, whip legs go by, and you hear Affleck.
Oh, good for you, my man.
Yeah. And then the people in the commercial
Listen
say,
to this part.
Supplemental insurance, good for you.
Go for you, man. You might make money. Go for you, buddy.
Yes, it is good for me. I think the Affleck campaign's
Hey, Beat,
been very good for
Beetle,
me.
I don't understand.
Have it on with the chicken wings, you laugh.
Hey, Beetle, I don't understand one thing. For some reason, you don't like this guy. Why?
Something about
I don't like him either.
Something about him, I don't know.
I mean, just on first
So
sight.
weird, I don't want to know.
There's something about him, right?
He's weird, something about him, I don't want to know.
He's a little off-putting?
Yeah.
I don't know.
What is it that...
Weird, I don't know, I don't want to know nothing.
Beetle, I swear to you, I don't like him. You don't like him. No one likes him. Why is it?
And that's not good for me.
What?
If I have no friends, it's not no good for me.
Nobody don't want to be your friend. Nobody does.
What can he do, Beetle?
I don't know.
What could he do to improve?
I don't know. I don't want to know.
Can't you give him any tips? Like, how do
I
you
don't
make
wanna
friends?
know nothing.
All right. Well,
How do you make friends, Beat?
how do you make friends?
I
Give him a
don't
tip.
know, I don't want to know nothing.
You know, it's a funny thing, Beat, and you're a friend for how many years do we know each other?
Oh, call for a while.
A couple of while. Okay.
It was May 34th, 1938.
When we first
Go
met?
for you, man. Go for you, pal.
No, but I'm saying we've been friends a long time.
I know.
And
but
I can't.
don't want to know nothing.
I can't figure out why no one likes this guy.
I don't know.
Gilbert should have been a huge star by now, but
I
he's
don't
he's
know.
trapped in mediocrity.
He's
because he-
incredibly
I
talented.
don't know. I
But
don't
the
know.
second he walked in the room, you didn't like
I
him.
didn't know. I don't want to know.
You heard his name and you didn't want to meet him.
I don't want to know the name.
And
I don't want to know.
this is no good for me.
Yeah, go for you.
It might be good for you, but it's no good for me.
Go for you. Have a dominant neck.
Good for you.
Can we get back to what Beetlejuice was talking about supplemental insurance?
Yes. Okay, sometimes there'll be people on the beach talking about supplemental insurance.
You know what I think it is sometimes?
You insurance better go find somewhere else.
Beetle. I notice you haven't even looked at
Yeah,
Gilbert.
he won't look at him.
You won't look at him, but I think it's the Julius Caesar haircut that turns people off. What do you think?
Yeah, I will look at him for.
Look at him. Take a look.
Are you afraid to look at him?
Pete, take a look at this guy. Look
Even
at him.
Beetlejuice is afraid to look at.
Look at him.
What I want to look at him for?
Just take a look. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I
Tell me if you
never
think he's
did.
attractive.
Not me.
And he won't
You
even
won't
look.
even look.
You won't look at him.
But I heard you were gay.
No.
No?
No.
I'm not gay.
Not this guy.
Well, let me ask you
Not
something,
gay.
Beetle.
Not me.
When you leave, will you shake Gilbert's hand?
Hell no.
Gilbert, do you have any idea why this guy never met you and he doesn't like
I
you?
know. You know, you're not being very good to me.
But Gilbert, you do turn a lot of people off. I mean, you know that in your personal life.
Yes.
I saw when you were ill in the hospital, people thought you were dying, they wouldn't come visit you.
Beetlejuice, are you some sort of network executive?
Beetle, I swear, everyone has the same reaction to him. You're not alone.
Hey, go for him.
It is good for me.
You have a nickel and a dime, all right?
Have you ever gone to Chinatown and ordered a hot plate of good for
I never
me?
go to China. I never did it. I never will.
You don't even want to talk to him,
Gilbert, I'm going to give you an opportunity to win Beetle over. Try to sell yourself to Beetle. I mean,
Ain't no bit of here.
he wants to be your friend.
Okay.
Try to be his friend. Listen, just listen, Beetle. Give him a chance.
Look, I'm quite popular. I'm in the Aflac commercials. I'm beloved in for all the Aladdin cartoons.
Tell Beetle one of your good jokes. You're a funny guy. Do you know a joke, a short joke you could tell him?
Tell the aristocrat.
No.
yes. Oh, no.
Beetle, wait. He's a comedian. If he makes you laugh, maybe he'll win you over. Listen to the joke. At least let's listen to. Will you listen to the joke? Beat. Will you listen to the joke? Will you?
I don't know.
Okay.
You like a joke? He's got a good joke.
Would you like to hear him tell a joke?
Clean one.
All right. He knows clean jokes.
Yes. An old man goes to a doctor's office.
Go ahead.
And he says, I can't pee. And the doctor says, how old are you? And he goes, I'm 90. And the doctor says, you've peed enough.
What do you think? What do you think?
What a stupid joke.
Oh, no.
You just hate him, right?
If you can't laugh at that joke, you're not capable of laughing.
Right. You know, Gilbert.
What has 4 legs and yells hody-do, hody-do? 2 black guys trying to catch an elevator.
What do you think? Good for you.
See, it is good for me.
Beat. I trust you.
I like that one.
Beat.
Thank you.
What a what?
See, Artie liked it. You should.
What is that?
What a prize, buddy.
What a prize. All right, Beat. Look, he told you 2 of his greatest jokes. Hody do.
That's my killer material.
Actually, he told you 2 of George Jessel's best.
Does Gilbert have bad breath?
I don't know.
Right.
You're not even getting close enough to find out, huh?
Hell no. I wouldn't do it.
You won't touch him at all?
Have you ever heard my Georgie Jessel imitation?
Do you Dracula or Georgie Jessel?
Or George Burns? Do something.
No, do something.
Wait,
do something current, like Arthur Godfrey.
Beat, listen to me.
Okay.
Gilbert's going to do an impression of a famous person. This is going to win. You're going to like him now.
This is Georgie Jessel. This kills every time because people love him. He's contemporary.
Listen to it. Give him a chance.
It's wonderful being they're honoring this wonderful man. Eddie Cantor was a good friend of mine. I'm really here on this wonderful occasion.
All right, Gilbert, don't kill him with it.
Okay.
What do you think?
Don't oversell it.
What do you think of him now? Do you like him any better?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Gilbert,
wait a minute.
I don't know, and I don't want to know.
Gilbert, just kill him with that on Totally Request Live.
Gilbert, let me help you here.
Yes, okay.
Because I really want you guys to be friends. Try doing Dracula for him. Do you know who Dracula is? You know the guy who sucks the blood in the monster movie? Would you let him do that for you, and maybe you'll like him better?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Give it a shot.
Just listen to him.
Listen to this. It kills me.
Do you have the music?
This is when I fell in love with Gilbert. When I heard you. Okay, go ahead.
I am Dracula. I bid you welcome. Listen to them, children of the night. What music they make.
What do you think? All right, okay, you did it, Gilbert. What do you think of Gilbert now?
Done upstage.
I don't know.
You didn't like it?
Totally
Do you ever hear
bored.
my imitation of Colin Clive, who played Dr. Frankenstein?
Do the impression of the guy who played Dr. Frankenstein.
Play the music.
Play the music, please.
Because that helps.
What a joke.
Listen to this.
A short while ago, this was a dead body. Now it's getting ready to live.
Keep going. You're winning them over.
It's
What?
alive.
What?
It's alive. It's alive.
What do you think of that?
Beetlejuice.
Was it funny, Beetle?
Beetlejuice, find me some body parts.
Beetlejuice, anyone in your neighborhood do a Colin Clive impression?
What do you think? Hey, Beat, what did you think of that?
I don't know.
You don't like it, did you? You said you didn't like it.
When I play in front of a black
I can't believe it.
audience, the Colin Clive imitation.
You know, maybe if Beetle was really born in 1934, he'd like it.
Yeah, really.
Hold it a second. Katie Juice is on the phone. That's your wife, right? All
I
right.
don't know. I don't.
Katie, hi.
Good morning, Howard.
Hi.
Beetle. Beetle, you made me pregnant and you ran away from me.
Not me. I'm not here.
And I think I have herpes now.
You're pregnant and you have herpes.
That's a good move.
And baby Lester wants the baby daddy home.
Did you get your wife pregnant and give her herpes? Yeah.
I know that.
You never touched her.
What I want to be there for?
You never touched her.
Beetle, I love you and I miss you, baby. You gotta come home right now, baby.
Uh-oh, it's a man.
You gotta come home right now, Beetle.
That's a man who says he's in love with you.
Daddy loves you, Beetle.
That's a man who says you gave him herpes.
All right, listen,
And it
Beat.
sounds kind of like Dracula.
Beat, I try to introduce you to new friends. Sometimes people don't click. You don't like them. I don't believe you got a man pregnant. I don't believe any of it.
Well, what if Gilbert shows up at your appearance today? Would you say hello?
I don't know.
Oh, see, I think
I
he's starting to
wouldn't
like
be
me
there.
now.
I'll probably somewhere else hiding.
I could see Beetle at the appearance going, man says he can't pee.
Here's a joke that you could use. Because you being a black man, it might not be as offensive.
I don't care if I'm a black man, but at least I'm a
Okay.
white man.
How do you keep a black man from cashing his welfare check? Hide them in his work shoes.
At least you do it for a living. I know that.
What'd you say, Beat?
At least I do it for a living.
That wouldn't be offensive if Beetle told it.
You saying Beetle could use that joke? You would sell that to him?
Yes.
Or give it to him for free?
I think you could actually.
Well, that's generous.
You do it with a punch at the end, like.
Gilbert is saying he can't
his work
use it.
shoes.
Yes.
He can't use it.
Kind of like how Regis would do it, like his work shoes.
How does a colored guy not cash his welfare check?
His work shoes. You know, to the audience.
That was a beat. Beat.
Go
Yeah.
for you.
It was nice of the guy to give you a joke. That's all I'm
Hey, he's
saying.
giving you 3.
I've never seen Gilbert give anything.
Why are you so generous, Gilbert?
He really wants to be your friend.
Pete, I can't hear you. You're not near the mic. What did you say? I couldn't hear what you said.
Nah.
What?
Nah, nothing.
You don't like the guy and that's it.
I never did and I never will.
Wow.
Gilbert's going to charge you 2 packets of sugar from a diner for that.
Yeah, you better go get a pack of cigarettes and have them for smoking.
So,
I don't
Beetle,
wanna know
there's nothing he can do?
Nothing.
Ain't nothing I can do. I ain't doing nothing for nobody.
Okay, here's another one. And you being the third world member, it
Yeah,
might not
go
be as
for you, my
offensive
man.
to you.
Yeah, go for you, my man.
Okay, did you hear 500
play
Puerto
the
Ricans died? Their bed collapsed.
You're saying he can use that terribly racist joke?
Yes, yes.
You think he could get away with that?
I think you could get away with it. Did you hear about the Puerto Rican wedding? Something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue, something polka dot, something green.
Okay?
All right, let's go to Demetis, who wants to say hello. Demetis, hi, you're on the air.
Yo, get this unfunny, dirty, ugly, stinky, smelly Jew off. Dirty Jew, dirty Jew, dirty Jew, dirty Jew.
All right, there's a guy calling for the stinky, ugly, dirty Jew Gilbert to get off the air.
That's how the Holocaust started.
Beetle, that's how it happened.
People like
Go
that.
for you. Go for you, my man. Go for you.
No, it wasn't good for us.
Go for you. Go for you, my man.
According to the History Channel, it was no good for us.
Go for you. Go for you.
Good for you.
I don't think it was good for anybody.
You know, maybe if you do your Groucho.
Do your Groucho.
Wait till you hear this. You remember Groucho toward the end when he used to work with Dick Cavett?
Yeah, go for you.
Good for you.
Okay, here.
Listen to this, it'll kill you.
Yeah, whatever.
I remember working with Nunnally Johnson, who was a great humorist of his day. Robert Benchley used to like to smoke cigars, and I also was a cigar smoker. Now, one time, Robert Benchley...
This has got to kill you, Beetle. Wait a second, Gilbert, stop for a second. Beetle, no good? That's great. That's a
Not
great.
working.
Not working for you.
Not working?
All right. Well, okay. B, I wish you luck today.
Have you heard my Arthur Godfrey imitation?
Yeah,
Don't do that. He's not going to like it. Forget it.
How are you? How are you?
Do you do anyone more current, Gilbert?
Yeah.
Someone that, who do you like? Beetle?
Alan Thicke, can you do?
Oh, yes.
Lord, I
Oh,
don't
okay.
wanna know.
Here's my Alan Thicke.
Hey, it's your very own Gilbert Gottfried. You're in the kid book.
Oh, here's one you like. It's Nipsey Russell.
Okay.
Hey, I got some poems for you.
All right. Do Dice Clay.
Oh, hickory dickory dock. Oh!
No good?
I think he's starting to warm up.
Do you do Robin Williams? Maybe he.
Oh, look at that. Oh.
Do your Jay Leno.
So, you're checking the paper tonight. Yeah, you read the paper tonight.
Do you ever watch Jay Leno? No.
What about Seinfeld?
Jerry Seinfeld, you did great.
here.
Wait, wait. You know Jerry Seinfeld? All right. Do it.
Close your eyes. You'll swear he's in the room.
Close your eyes. Listen to this. Go ahead.
Hey, Beetlejuice, why do they call you Beetlejuice? Why not Beetle soft drink? Why not Beetle soda? Why not cockroach juice?
What do you think of that?
Huh?
No, he hates you. He hates you. He hates you.
Beetle, did you hear Robert Benchley smoke cigars?
He was.
Go for him.
He used to have quite an appetite, Robert.
All right, listen, you're not going over, Gilbert. No, when you're dying.
No,
The guy's not laughing at you. He doesn't like you. He never likes you. He says he never will like you. All right, no matter what you do.
That's not good for me.
Do you like Jackie Mason, Beetlejuice? He does Jackie Mason.
Okay.
All right, one last impression.
Okay, you'll love this. Just look at me.
He's
it
snoring.
helps.
Wake up, Beetlejuice.
Okay.
Pete, wake up.
Hey, this person over here, just looking at him, all of a sudden, oh, you think you're a better person than this person here, and you think, oh, I'm too intelligent to listen to this person, and all of a sudden, why I should look to you like you're some kind of an expert? Are you listening to me? Are you out there?
Come on, that's got to kill you, Pete. You got to love the guy. That's a talent.
That was good.
How about Ralph Cramton? Norton!
Well, you're laying it all. You really want to win him over?
Yes.
It's not working.
You're laying an egg here.
Yeah. Okay, why don't we both do our who's on first?
All right.
Okay, what's the guy's name on first base? Now you go, who's on second base?
All right, Pete, it ain't working. You guys will never be friends. Am I right? Should I give up?
You can give all you want. I don't care because I can't do nothing about it.
Beetle, did you lose another tooth?
What?
Did you lose another tooth?
Nah.
Okay. Looks like the hole in his mouth's getting
Gilbert,
bigger.
can you do an impression of Beetlejuice? Maybe that would win him over.
You know, I've never tried this.
All right, go ahead.
My name is Beetlejuice. All of a sudden, I'm sitting here. I don't like Gilbert Gottfried. I don't.
All right, Look, Gilbert, you're used to people not liking you, so this is no big deal. So
He doesn't seem too broken up.
women don't like him. People don't like him.
Yeah.
He's trying to get current. He's working on a Bo Bice impression.
Beetlejuice, don't miss the Beetle Bash.
Did you ever hear my imitation of Kevin McCarthy at the end of Invasion of the Body Snatchers?
All right, go ahead.
Turn your cars around. Turn your cars around. They're invading. They'll get you when you sleep.
No, Beetle?
He was a beloved character actor. Have you ever heard my John MacGyver?
All right, come on. Gilbert, it's not going to work. Forget it. Give it up.
Push, this department store must be in ship-shape condition.
Who is that?
He was in among other films.
All right, Beetle. Let Beetle. Beetle did his enough. He wants to get out of here.
Who's minding the store with Jerry Lewis?
You're my friend. Thank you for coming in today. I appreciate your appearance. I'm sorry you and Gilbert didn't hit it
Have you
off.
ever heard me do one of Buddy Love's songs in Nutty Professor?
Oh.
Beat, where are you going? Come on. Beat, wait. I want to do a plug. Come here. Get that
He's had
microphone.
enough. He can't take it.
At least say goodbye to me. Pull the microphone and say goodbye to me. No, Beat. Say.
Have you ever heard the speech at
no,
the end of
please,
Nutty
Gilbert. This is my friend. Beetle, take the microphone. Take the microphone. No, wait. I can't.
He's leaving.
I don't mind.
Just getting out.
Just 2 seconds. Can you stay, please?
No, I'm not.
Just get the microphone.
Just for a second?
No, I'm not.
Microphone.
2 seconds.
No, I'm not.
Why?
Because I don't.
You don't like Gilbert?
He loves you.
What about?
I don't care. I don't care.
It was the Kevin McCarthy.
Well, he was a big fan of Kevin.
Beetle, whoa, I can't believe you're walking out on Gilbert. You really hate him. It's driving you nuts.
Hey, that's what I want to do. That's what I'm going to do.
All right, okay. I'm just trying to give you a plug, pal.
He speaks for my audience.
Right.
I love Gary holding a microphone 2 inches.
I never saw you run out of here like that before. Was it Gilbert? I guess it's Gilbert.
I don't know, but I don't care. But I'm out of here, but I don't care.
I feel like the whole audience
You don't
does
get
this.
him,
But I don't want to know nothing, but, I come in, that's it.
Do you want him to leave?
Yeah, I'm leaving. I don't care what he does.
All right.
Do you want Sal to come in and apologize for what
I ain't got nothing to do with Sal, so I don't care.
Beetle, let me give you a plug before you leave.
He's
Beetle,
still walking out.
can I give you a plug?
Yeah, go ahead. I don't care.
All right, where are you going to be today?
I don't know.
Do you want to say at least goodbye to Gilbert?
I
Don't
ain't
be rude.
got nothing to do with it.
Don't be rude. Shake his hand. Hey.
See you later.
Shake his hand. Shake his hand. Shake his hand.
I don't shake
Shake his hand. Hey, that ain't right.
Sal, you apologize to Beetlejuice. Say
Beetle.
you're me.
Shake his hand. Be a man. Be a man.
Sal.
Be a man. Be a man.
Where's he going? Come
ran
back
out.
here.
He ran out.
Children of the night.
You chased him out of here. That's one of my friends. What's the matter with you? Shame on you.
What happened, B?
I don't want to deal with it.
You don't like that guy?
If I was you, I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to deal with it.
Well, tell me, how come you don't like him? What's wrong with him?
'Cause I don't feel like it. Like I said, hey, the way it is, that's the way it is. I ain't gonna sit there and argue with everybody. Let him do what he wants. I don't care.
So you don't like that guy?
I don't.
How come?
'Cause I don't feel like it. 'Cause I don't.
So are you going away mad?
Hey, I walked away and I walked away. That's what I did. I did. What are we gonna do? Sit there and do everything all day? No.
What did you think of his impressions?
His impression ain't nothing.
Ain't nothing? It's no good for him?
It's not good for me, so I don't care about no impression.
What about Sal, dressed like you?
It's all right. It don't mean a thing to me.
He's a brother like you.
It don't mean a thing.
So you gonna go?
Is it okay if I just pick you up?
No, I don't need nobody picking me.
No, I don't mean like that. I mean, I just want to pick you up like a friend, just for a minute. It'll be okay if I hold you just like this?
Nobody pick me up, and I don't need nobody doing it.
Because, the thing is that you know how I feel about you. I love you and all, and I think
I'm not doing it.
I know, you don't have to, but you're a comedic legend and everything. You're a superstar. I feel bad for Gilbert. And I figured if I can pick you up like this and show him that, there's love in the air, love in the room, maybe.
No love in no air there, but I'm just here just like everybody else. That's all.
Yeah, but if I pick.
I'm just like everybody else. I'm just here just like everybody else.
But I figure if I pick you up like this,
I'm just here just like everybody else.
we can bring you back to the room and you can just wave goodbye to Gilbert.
No. I ain't going back and forth, and I ain't doing it back and forth.
But if I pick you up like this, could you just wave?
I'm not waving my hand. I'm not shaking nobody's hand.
You don't like Gilbert? Would you do it for me?
I ain't doing it for nobody. I'm not shaking nobody's hand. I'm sorry, but I'm not doing it. Forget about it. All right?
Can't say.
He's Jewish?
I don't care if he's Jewish. I don't care, but I'm not shaking nobody's hand.
How about like this?
Oh, Gilbert's here.
3 hours.
Gilbert, come on in, but I gotta take a break, dude. Gilbert. Wonder what he's promoting, yet another Caroline's appearance?
I would imagine. Does he travel on the road anymore, or does he just...
Gilbert does whatever you want him to do, if you pay him.
I don't know. I don't know if he tours.
What are you promoting this time? Come on. Get in here and plug.
Yeah, because I enjoy doing the show.
You're cutting your hair short. You have hair. Why don't you grow it a little?
Yeah, I know.
One of the nice things on you is your hair. I mean,
What, you won't pay for a stylist?
I'm afraid I might actually look good for once in my life.
Don't worry about that. There he is, Gilbert Gottfried. I picture like in 10 years Gilbert will kill some woman because he's as weird as Phil Spector.
It seems to be the way to go.
Because I know he's hiding behind the curtains somewhere in his apartment.
throwing around guns. Do you own a gun, Gilbert?
Do I own curtains?
That's the question.
I can see Gilbert, like, flipping out in 10 years. You whore, you won't do me. Because he's angry at women. And
Right. He probably is holding guns to heads to get oral favors.
Yeah.
I'll kill Ronnie Spector.
Yeah, I mean, there's something up with me, Gilbert. We were talking about how weird Gilbert is. Like, who was it? Someone told me they saw you at Hollywood Squares. Gary.
No, this was last night at the Comedy Central party.
Oh, we got a report. You were at the Comedy Central party last night? And you had a knapsack with you?
Yeah.
And at the end of the party, you went over to the food table and you stuffed stuff into your knapsack?
No, that's I didn't. I stuffed it in my mouth.
No. You took stuff home in the knapsack, and I got it on real good authority.
Yeah. From Gary.
No, not Gary. Who did we hear that from?
Chauncey, right? Chauncey.
Yeah.
In fact, Chauncey will be on the phone in a second. Chauncey said he saw him jamming food in there.
Really, Gilbert?
No.
Have you got the knapsack here?
Yeah, if you'd like to smell it.
Yeah, does it smell like midget hot dogs?
Chauncey called it. He says he swore he saw you stick stuff in your knapsack.
Yeah.
Are you just too embarrassed to admit it?
No, I didn't put any stuff. There'd be too many people for me to put stuff in there.
Oh, like you care.
I'm not saying I wouldn't do it.
What'd they serve?
It did nothing good. It would have been, it was like chicken wings.
Oh, I see.
Why did you have a knapsack?
I always carry that. I don't know why.
Because he doesn't carry a purse.
Yeah.
Chauncey.
Hey, how's it going?
Gilbert says you're lying.
Oh,
Tell the truth.
Gilbert, where were you last night?
I was at that party, yes.
And what time did you get there?
You know it's a good party if Gilbert's there.
Yeah, yes.
Well, you know what it was? It was
A-list.
Gilbert got there. Well, Gilbert got there at the end of the party, and you would think by now Gilbert has some money. He's like an old man. He shuffles in with one of those backpacks on his back.
Yeah, all right, that's cool.
And he goes to each. There's like a long buffet. He takes food from every single tray, loads it up, and leaves.
What does he load it into?
Yes.
The backpack.
What, you mean I just put chicken wings into a backpack?
I watched the whole thing.
Did I have a plastic bag with me? I just put it in a backpack.
Napkins.
Oh, come on, John.
In napkins.
I viewed the whole thing.
That's going to hold chicken wings.
We watched in wonder.
Were these napkins made out of plastic?
So Chauncey, are you sure you saw Gilbert put chicken wings in his knapsack?
It was lasagna. It was ziti.
How did you get that in a knapsack?
It was cheese.
I don't think Gilbert would ruin his $4 backpack.
But you can't even eat the food when it's all mushed
All I know is I sat there and I was amazed by what I was seeing.
Say, I swear to God I saw Gilbert put food in the
I
knapsack.
swear to God in heaven.
Wow.
To Christ.
To Christ.
To the Son of God and how he died on the cross.
The thing ended at 10 o'clock. Gilbert came in at like 9:45.
All right. Well, you know what? I guess there's a disagreement going on here. I got to take a break anyway. Thank you, Chauncey.
I swear to the Mother of Christ.
You saw Gilbert put lasagna in a knapsack.
And tuna fish.
Chauncey does have a weird reality.
Yeah.
I've been the victim of his, I swear to God I saw you do something.
And I poured some Coca-Cola in there, too.
Yeah, because you needed something to drink with all that.
Right.
Mix the salad.
Gilbert Godfrey tomorrow night at Caroline's, as I figured. In Manhattan for ticket reservation, 212-757-4100. A rare appearance for Gilbert.
Do you tour, Gilbert, or is it you have to come to New York to see you on stage?
No, I go out of town.
He's going to Jersey.
Oh,
yeah.
Camden County College in Blackwood.
You're doing the colleges, huh?
Ticketmaster.com. Oh, yeah, they love him there. The kids love him.
Oh, the kids.
Yeah, he makes a lot of very now references.
I'm a big hit with the kids.
Yeah. It's going to be some Phil Spector material.
There you go.
How about those Ronettes?
Do you ever change your act for colleges? Do you try to be more contemporary?
Oh, yeah, I wear a Nehru jacket. And I talk about go-go dancing.
You don't change your act for anybody.
No.
No.
How long has it been since you changed your act?
Oh.
Remember that Hitler routine?
I still do Spiro Agnew.
Do you?
Jokes, yeah.
If the kids can't get Ralph Cramden and Casablanca, screw them.
Gilbert does an excellent Ghostbusters routine. Screw these kids.
And I still have my catchphrases like, here comes the judge.
Throw them into the lava pool.
That will further empower that corrupted incarnate.
The harm is already done. Salt, return to the ocean. These are trying times. Aspects want you civilian. How is your pain?
I am still injured, but the shadow flame, it is gone. I no longer feel it creeping towards my soul.
We acted quickly enough then. You are cleansed.
I feared the worst. I feared I would end up like him.
Does the college know how dirty you work? You do work blue.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right.
No, I know. I mean, you even use the C word for a woman's private parts right on stage.
Anthony doesn't like the audience.
I did that during...
the Go-Go's.
Yeah, the Go-Go's.
You opened up for the Go-Go's, and all the teenage girls got to hear the C word.
Because they warned me. They said there's going to be kids and their parents in the audience.
That's all you have to do. All right, look, we have to take a break.
Who's
And
weirder, Gilbert or Michael Jackson?
Michael Jackson.
You're sure?
I think so. I don't think Gilbert sleeps with kids.
Yeah. I don't know. He talks about it.
Although Michael Jackson never put a ravioli in his knapsack.
I'm putting a ravioli in my Look, Chauncey, the police are searching my knapsack for ravioli. I was humiliated as the police emptied my knapsack. They searched my rectum and knapsack for ravioli. They spread my buttocks cheeks, searching for ravioli and chicken wings.
I found ricotta cheese in my wallet.
Sleep with me, ravioli.
We're going to take a break. You're a very funny guy, but everyone needs a break from you.
Jesus.
Yeah. No one can take too much Gilbert.
Yeah, you have to meet it out.
A little bit of Gilbert is good. We're going to take a break. Gilbert will come back with us. We're going to do a little news for you. And you know who's calling in? Abe Hirschfield.
Is that right again?
Swear to God.
He's out of jail, right?
He's out of jail. You have something you want to say.
Oh, that's great. Gilbert loves to talk to Abe.
You love when Abe calls in.
Yes.
Yeah. We'll be back right after these words.
Well, are you ready for a new movie about the Clinton crisis? Entertainment Weekly magazine is. They're calling it Intern Gate the movie, and they've cast the fictitious film. How about James Brolin as Bill Clinton, Barbara Streisand as the First Lady, as Monica Lewinsky, EW suggests Shannon Doherty, and in a brilliant piece of casting, Howard Stern as Paula Jones.
You're listening to a man who doesn't care about the rainforest, but would love to see Sting's wife nude.
Yeah. All right. On our phone is a very distinguished gentleman, Mr. Abe Hirschfield, who actually had to go to prison for a while. Why did he go to prison?
Didn't he try to rub somebody out or something?
Did he try to kill his business partner? But anyway, Mr. Hirschfeld is out of jail now. You're out of jail, Mr. Hirschfeld?
Yes, sir.
All right. Did you kill your partner?
Well, my partner died before they started.
Before you could kill him?
Against me.
I see. So before you could kill him, he died on you.
So it's bad timing.
So they arrested me for a second killing.
Why do they arrest someone for killing someone if you don't get a chance to kill them?
It's wrong to even plot
Why?
such a
Because the cops in New York are so crooked, so corrupt, so lying.
I see.
That is unbelievable.
I can't believe they lock people up for murder.
But you didn't.
Wrong.
But you claim you didn't do it, right?
No, I never intended to, and I never thought of it. But, you know,
Well, what was the
today we
evidence?
have bigger problems.
We do?
And I think I would like to discuss two of the first major problem out of the more
How old a guy are you?
I sent you.
Answer me my questions though first. How old are you?
I am 84. And
Why are you worth
feel
over?
like I'm 84 and feel now better than when I was 21 because I lost 50 pounds, a diet that I invented. You can eat as much as you want, no pills, no exercise, and you lose as much as you want.
Don't look at yourself in the mirror. And then you're weigh 19
By the way,
pounds.
Mr. Hirschfeld, I know you're a big supporter of Israel. You're a Jewish man. We have a top Jew here, too. He's a rabbi, and he would like to offer a blessing before we speak.
Okay.
Bishini chalo v'chaveshe bichadosh mechale b'chay v'shevu b'chamei achal shevu b'chamichel tashi
Thank you, Rabbi. Yes.
You know, he sounds...
Do you know the words?
The way he sings it, he sounds it like a hip-hop music.
Yeah, he's very good. He is from Israel.
Good.
He's from Israel, actually. Rabbi, you live in Israel?
Yes.
Where do you live? Tel Aviv?
Yeah, yes.
Yes, you live
It's the
in
only
Tel Aviv.
place I could think of offhand. So,
So,
yeah,
Mr.
Tel
Hirschfeld,
Aviv.
here's my question. You're worth like $1 billion, right?
Well, anybody that has to count how much he's worth has nothing.
All right, but you're a very wealthy man. And
Yes, I
my
have
question
many,
is,
many millions.
I know I see you all over the place discussing plans to build a World Trade Center. You have a diet you invented.
How did he lose 50 pounds eating anything he wanted?
Well, the point is, why not just rest and relax?
Well, I know when I rest. I rest when in my grave. But until then, I like to do good things for the
I
public.
will rise from my grave and turn into a bat.
So let me tell you.
I will drink the blood with the living.
Yeah, so now...
I can only be killed with a stake in the heart. I am one of the undead who rises from my coffin every night, and then I turn into a bat or a wolf.
Right.
Sometimes I'll turn into a wolf, and then I will bite on the necks so that I'll drink the blood with the living.
All right, yes,
Yes, so, you see, let me start with the first problem. The first problem is
the sunlight can destroy the undead. And the sunlight...
All right, what is the first problem you want to tackle?
The first problem is to stop the many divorces that we have now, and I'll tell you why.
Are you a divorced man?
No, I'm 60 years married, only because
Did
you
try to kill her?
I tried killing my wife several occasions, didn't work out,
so I
remain married.
So I will tell you how to have a good, happy marriage.
All right.
You know, this 10-year-old boy says to his mother, "How old are you?" And she says it's not polite to ask a lady her age. Next day he says, "How much do you weigh?" And she says it's not polite to ask. Next day he says, "Why are you divorced?" And she says, "You're too young, you'll get older, we'll discuss it." A few days later, the boys are together, and he says, "Boys, I found my mother's driver's license, and it gives me all the answers. It says that she's 35 years old, she weighs 120 pounds, and in sex, she got an F. And that's the main cause of all divorces."
How old was the boy?
The old boy was 10 years old.
He's 10, and how old is his friend?
You know,
the friends were the same age.
Wait a second.
The mics aren't working at all here. Can you just do that again?
Yes.
Yeah.
This 10-year-old boy is asking his mother, "How old are you?" And she says, "It's not polite to ask." Next day he says, "How much do you weigh?" And she says also, "It's not polite to ask." Next day he says, "Why are you
How many times can you get him to say this?
He says, "You're too young, you'll get older, we'll discuss it." A few days later the boys are together, and he says, "Boys, I found my mother's driver's license, and it gives me all the answers. It says that she's 35 years old, she weighs 120 pounds, and in sex, she got an F." And that is a major issue in marriages, when the wife has a...
Well, I'm going to ask him, I don't understand.
Because if you have a good night...
You can tell me screwed up, but
if you have a good night, then you have a good day. But if you have a bad day and then a good night, everything straightens out.
But how old was the mother?
The mother was 35 years old.
That part got...
She weighed 120 pounds.
Yeah, that part got edited out.
Right.
See,
and you know the other most important issue...
No, wait, Abe. I don't know what the hell is wrong with how they're recording stuff here, but we didn't get any of that.
Oh, you wanted the game?
Yes,
okay.
yeah, please.
The joke.
Yes.
It's the joke.
Yes. You know, this 10-year-old boy says to his mother, "How old are you?" And she says it's not polite to ask a lady her age. Next day he says, "How much do you weigh?" And she says the same. It's not polite to ask. Next day he says, "Mother, why are you divorced?" And she says, "You're too young, we'll get older, we'll discuss it." A few days later, the boys are together. He says, "Boys, I found my mother's driver's license, and it gives me all the answers. It says that she's 35 years old, she weighs 120 pounds, And in sex,
should ask him for money,
got
like,
an F.
Like those
But-
little biddies who
And,
sit in the
and the
5,000.
women who having sex an A or a B, they never get
how
divorced.
could this guy be a multi-millionaire?
He
obviously didn't make it
because
yesterday.
of it. So that is one of the issues. But the other major issue that bothers our nation more than anything.
You going to make him do it again?
He opened a butcher shop, more butcher shops. Then he bought a slaughterhouse, more slaughterhouse.
I want to know what the hell is going on here. Why didn't we hear any of that? Well,
Why didn't
sorry,
we hear-
Abe,
if
I'm
you
yelling
let
at people here.
If you let me finish, you hear.
No, we didn't hear any of that story.
No story that you hear from me, you heard from anybody. Because
No,
I
could you
make them
tell
up.
us? We want to hear the story, and the mics keep going in and out.
It's our new producer.
Yeah.
So what happened?
Could you just tell the story about the boy and the woman?
Again?
Yes, please.
Yes, this 10-year-old boy asks his mother, how old are you? And she says it's not polite to ask a lady her age. Next day he says, how much do you weigh? And she gives the same answer. And the next day he says, why are you divorced? And she says, you're too young, you'll get older, and we'll discuss it. A few days later, the boys are together, and he says, boys, I found my mother's driver's license, and it gives me all the answers. It says that she's 35 years old, she weighs 120 pounds, and in sex,
I don't get it.
She got an F.
No, an F in
And
sex.
with an F in sex, they automatically get divorced. But those women
I'm gonna
who
go
are
through the jo- I'm
have
gonna-
an A or B in sex,
I want to break
they
down the
marry
joke.
forever.
It kind of grows on you, though.
So now it's the other issue which bothers us a lot.
You wrote that joke?
I made up every joke that you hear you
I
never
didn't even
have
hear it.
unless you hear it from me. And I have hundreds of them.
You know, is the mother divorced?
Yes, because she has in sex an F.
An F. Oh. But doesn't he realize that's female?
I beg your pardon?
The F, isn't that for female?
The F is for female.
I
That's
see,
right.
I see, I
You
see.
can only get an M or an F, yeah.
So what if she'd gotten an M? She'd be a man.
If she got that, she would be a
Man.
That I didn't think of.
Abe, I think the main problem here is we didn't hear all of the joke. That's why we're so confused.
We get the first half, and
Yeah.
then we don't get the second half.
We started going in and out. I think we've got it fixed now.
It's the submixer.
So, should I repeat
Yes,
it?
please.
One more time, please.
Okay. This 10-year-old boy asks his mother, how old are you?
I can't take it.
And she says it's not polite to ask a lady her age. Next day he says, how much do you weigh? And she says the same thing. It's not polite to ask. Next day he says, mother, why are you divorced? And
I'd love
she
to
says,
meet
"You're
this
too
guy.
young.
You realize this guy used to go to dinners with, like, Robert Kennedy? And, Yeah.
Together.
Now he's being dicked around by Gilbert.
Robert Kennedy's there going, could you tell me the joke again?
Abe, you're such a great storyteller. Can you tell the one about the 10-year-old boy? Well, Mr. Kennedy?
Yeah, I like
So
the
with an F
poor,
in
you
sex,
see,
it's
when
very
I hear
hard to
your
look at the
joke.
woman.
Wait.
And now, you see, the other issue is a much more interesting one.
We missed the end.
Problem today.
I'm
This
sorry, we
butcher
missed Abe, we
opened the
missed the
butcher
end.
shop
Tell
and
me
gives
the
all the
joke
answers.
again.
I to ask. Next day he says, mother, why are you divorced?
I'd love to meet this guy.
Too young.
You realize this guy used to go to dinners with, like, Robert Kennedy? And, Yeah.
Together.
Now he's being dicked around by Gilbert.
Robert Kennedy's there going, could you tell me the joke again?
Abe, you're such a great storyteller. Can you tell the one about the 10-year-old boy? Well, Mr. Kennedy?
Yeah, I like
So
the
with an F
poor,
in
you
sex,
see,
it's
when
very
I hear
hard to
your
look at the
joke.
woman.
Wait.
And now, you see, the other issue is a much more interesting one.
We missed the end.
Problem today.
I'm
This
sorry, we
butcher
missed Abe, we
opened a
missed the
butcher
end.
shop in Chicago and more butcher
Abe,
shops.
just the last two lines of the joke. We missed the end.
Which line?
The last two.
From the previous joke?
Yes.
Yes.
The privilege.
She's 35 years old.
Yes.
She weighs 120 pounds. And in sex, she got an F.
No, not that line. The line before.
The line before that?
Yes, the previous line to that, and then do the rest.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, like, what was the third question?
Right.
Right.
From the third question forward.
It seems that you guys don't know what means in sex an F. But unfortunately today that's what's happening a lot.
We're happening with him.
So the first line is the boy is asking his mother, how old are you? And she says, it's not polite to ask a lady her age.
So how does it start
Then
off?
he says, mother, how much do you weigh? And she says also, it's not polite to ask.
How does the joke start off?
The joke started off. That's a wonderful question. The joke started off when I was in jail.
No, how does
and
the
there
joke...
were many...
we want to record it this time.
Right.
Could you say it?
What should I say?
Well, we want the joke again, but this time we want to record it, and we'll play it in a future show.
Okay.
Yes.
You know, this 10-year-old boy asks his mother, how old are you? And
Why
she
did you
says
do that?
it's not polite to ask a lady her age. Next day she says, mother, how much do you weigh? And she also says it's not polite to ask a lady her weight. Next day he says, and why are you divorced, mother? And she says, you're too young, you'll get older.
Why is he calling in anyway? Do we ever find out?
They dated the boys out together.
Problem,
I want to move ahead.
I found my mother's driver's license, and it gives me all the answers.
I wish the boy was 9.
That she's 35 years old, she weighs 120 pounds, and in fact, she got an F. So that's natural that it leads to a divorce.
Well, Mr. Hirschfeld, a lot of people love the joke. In fact, here's Nancy. She loves it. Nancy, go ahead.
I can't remember when I laughed so hard.
Do you hear
I'm
that?
in tears. I am in tears.
Mr. Hirschfeld, you might have...
Walters.
You people are so at the top of your game.
Well, Mr. Hirschfeld...
Not even funny.
We can't take credit for...
That's Mr. Hirschfeld.
He
great
wrote that
material.
beautiful joke. Gilbert, good go, but no, these people...
By the way...
what else? Barbara Walters interviewed President...
Walters?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Barbara Walters interviewed President Clinton.
Barbara Walters?
Yeah, Barbara Walters.
Who is this?
You know who she is.
What's her name?
Barbara Walters.
Barbara Walters?
Right.
You know, I don't... who is she?
You know, she's on every television show.
And what's her name?
Barbara Walters. She asked President, she had an interview with President.
Is she on like something, Everyone Loves Raymond? What show is she on?
Okay, so she interviewed President Clinton. And she said, Miss President Clinton.
Who interviewed him?
Barbara Walters.
And she interviewed Clint Howard?
No, President Clinton. You know.
She interviewed Bobby Vinton?
No, President Clinton.
Who interviewed him?
Barbara Walters interviewed President Clinton.
Bobby Waters?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bobby Waters?
Okay.
What? Who interviewed?
who?
Harry Dean Stanton.
It's Barbara Walters.
Barbara Walters interviewed who?
Yeah.
President Clinton. And she said,
Clemens?
Mr. President.
How old are you?
And she says, Mr. President. And
Wait,
they
what? Mr. who?
Mr. President Clinton.
Is this a joke?
Yes.
Oh,
And,
we better start over.
Start over and tell the whole joke.
They
Start
talk
over.
about...
Abe?
Yes.
Who, first of all, who was doing the interview?
Barbara Walters. You like my accent?
Yeah, no, let's do the joke about Barbara Walters and
She interviewed him and she said...
She was interviewing a 10-year-old?
No, come on, let's get the jokes because I want to get it on tape. Go ahead.
So, should I continue? So I interviewed President Clinton and she said, and they spoke about World Affairs and so on. Then she says, Mr. President, we were told by
Mr.
Paula
Presley?
Jones.
Wait a
that
minute,
you have
wait.
a
She was
very, very
interviewing
small
Elvis Presley? Abe!
Yeah.
You said Mr. Presley. So Barbara Walters was interviewing Elvis Presley?
No, President Clinton.
Who was interviewing President Clinton?
Was it Barbara Waters?
Yeah.
Bobby Waters.
Barbara Waters. Okay, let me be Bobby Waters. Okay.
All right, listen, what is it, Mr. Hirschfeld?
Yeah.
You say you have a diet that will change the world. You also say you have a plan for rebuilding the World Trade Center.
Right.
Well, I know it's Barbara Walters looks thinner.
Yes. So, anyway.
All right, why don't we do this? We've got the 2 jokes on tape.
But the second one you don't have.
We never finished
It's only 1 more minute. You
Okay,
interviewed-
yes. Start over.
Finish.
Start from the beginning.
Let me finish.
Go ahead.
So the president, and they spoke about world
Then we'll get him over afterward.
And then she said,
they
Mr.
talked about
President, we
foil?
were told by Paula Jones that you have a very, very small penis. And the president says, honey, believe me, it's only because she has a very, very big mouth.
All right, look, I got to wrap up this segment. Mr. Hirschfeld, we're out of time.
I can give you the 500 of the best jokes that were never told, because all these jokes I composed in the 2 years
I
when I was
like the
in
one
jail.
about the 10-year-old boy.
But let me tell you something. I like the one about the 10-year-old boy, but the thing about Bill Clinton was he was not into peanuts. That was Jimmy Carter.
Well, I don't know. Jimmy Carter I knew personally, but I didn't
He had
see
peanuts.
I didn't see his
And why would Bobby Vinton be interviewing Clinton?
Yeah, Bobby Vinton was a singer.
Isn't DeWitt Clinton dead?
All right, look, Mr. Hirschfeld.
Yeah. You can call me Abe or whatever you want.
Out of respect. I have respect for all the people. Let me say thank you, number 1, for the interview.
Number 2, we want to hear the joke about the 10-year-old boy.
Again?
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
I tell you what, from now on I'm going to charge for it. The 10-year-old boy says, Mother, how old are you? And she says, it's not polite to ask a lady her age. Next day he says, how much do you weigh? And she says the same thing. It's not polite to ask a lady her weight. Next day he says, Mother, why are you divorced? And she says, son. And she says, son, you're too young. You'll get older. We'll discuss it. A few days later, the boys are together, and he says, boys, I found my mother's driver's license, and it gives me...
You should have Dracula Gottfried interview him about his plans for the World Trade Center.
35 years old. She weighs 120 pounds, and in sex, she got an F.
Sometimes...
Hey, Dracula Gottfried, I know you want to know about Mr. Hirschfeld's plans for the World Trade Center. Go ahead.
Mr. Hirschfeld, you see, as a builder...
I want to know your plans for the World Trade Center.
Right.
Tell me now how you plan on building the World Trade Center.
The World Trade Center. You know what you remind me, the way Joey Adams introduced me when he roasted me. Joey Adams roasted me at the Friars Club.
How's he doing?
How is
Wait, we want to hear the joke.
How is Joey Adams?
And he said, I want you to meet a good friend of mine, Abe Hirschfeld, who is in this country maybe 50 years. But he still speaks like he's arriving next Thursday.
That's good.
Wait, what was this joke again? I can't hear a thing on these new mics.
So maybe I should buy you old mics.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Hirschfeld, listen. That's Dracula Gottfried.
It's the same thing. An old penis and a good one is better than a new one and a bad one.
Well, Mr. Hirschfeld,
true.
I am...
Is that a joke?
I don't know.
Mr.
I don't know what it is. It's
you are Mr. Hirschfeld, you are a huge success. You have made, even though you went to jail, you still have your millions.
And your sense of humor.
And your sense of humor. You're a good sport.
But I have such fantastic jokes if you let me
What was that
tell
Joey
them.
Adams one?
If you let me tell them, you'll be 10 times bigger at the station than it is now.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Hey, Mr. Hirschfeld.
Yes.
At a future date, I'd like to hear your plans for the World Trade Center and also your plans for a diet.
Yeah,
UAPs,
whirlwind.
UAP stuff. Sorry. Yeah.
So we did have. So check out that video. After this, we have some interesting exclusive videos. Martin did a great job taking videos. I don't know what I was doing at the time, but I took no videos. I took a lot of pictures. But yeah, it was just a whirlwind day. And so we're just going to go through a post brief, kind of share our general experiences while it's fresh on our mind, and answer some questions. So. Thanks for being here. It was an amazing stream. That was by far a record for me. It was over 7,000 people. That's at least double the previous record, which was the NASA hearings.
That is amazing.
So
That's
huge
great.
demand. Obviously,
Yeah.
there's huge demand for this. I also saw in my stream that there was 120,000 people watching the other stream, the original stream.
Really? Wow.
So you have big numbers for this, and that's my general impression from this is that now people are going to know. I think now we're not going to have to explain it every time when you go and meet someone, and they've never heard of UAP, they've never heard of David Grush.
Yeah.
I really think after this that'll be different, and that's what I felt.
And just for the fact that, by the way, I got there at 5:40 a.m. today, and actually ran into a lot of your fans.
Did you really?
And
Excellent.
And a few of mine.
Yes. That was so cool meeting. Yeah.
Yeah, that was really awesome. But the thing is, there is a demand, and the reason we know that is because there was 1,000 people trying to get into this.
There was
outside, inside the hallway, as far as you could see, was lined up with people, and we were lucky enough to be able to get in. We got in the room, and as I said on my show, we just barely got in the room. And the only way we got in the room is I caught someone trying to.
They did cut
they cut in front of us.
Yeah.
They cut in front of a bunch of people, and unfortunately, this really nice girl Sarah didn't get in that we're talking to, and a few other people didn't get in that were really nice that were there at 5 a.m, and these people showed up at 7. But we were the last 3 in the door. My producer Donna, Chris, and I were the last ones in.
This is a funny story though too, because last night at midnight, I think, when we finally finished up, and so I get a call from Martin, and Martin's calling me at midnight, what is it? And he says he has some intel that people are sleeping over. And I was pretty surprised. And so the deal is if more people show up, right? Because I guess you want to tell who was there overnight?
Yeah, Randall Nickerson, the Ariel phenomenon, the Ariel school incident that happened in 1994. He did a wonderful film on that. He's known for a lot more, but that is his, it took him 12 years to put that film together. It's a theater quality film called The Ariel Phenomenon, about 65 school children that had an encounter with beings, and it's a really good movie. So I'm plugging it a little bit for him.
Yeah, it is an amazing movie.
Soul in it. Yeah.
Yeah, and so he was there over the whole night, really, because he wanted to support the whistleblowers.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he called you then, I guess, to tell you more people were showing up.
Yeah.
Because we heard there's only 30 spots, and we learned this late.
I said I took my phone off silent. You can call me anytime if people start showing up. So at 5 a.m. is when he said, you better get down here. People were showing up. So I wanted to make sure we would get in, and there was not a lot of seats. And I think if they knew how many people were going to show up, they would have held it in a different venue. I do believe.
I have to assume, right? I mean,
you have to assume.
Yeah.
I heard people say that were there, that work there, that it was unbelievable. The amount of people that are here, it's unbelievable. They've never seen anything like it.
Everyone seemed really surprised, like how many people were there and how many people were interested and invested. And the staffer I talked to, he'd been there since January. He said, the intern, he said this is the most he's seen. He hasn't been there that long, but said it's the largest, hearing he's seen, at least demand for the hearing.
Right. Yeah. Any of these clips you feel like playing?
Well, yeah, we'll just finish that story though. So,
oh yes,
Martin, they're supposed to call me, and I was like, "Call me, I will wake up." And I don't think he called me actually. No, he did. He called me, and I did not wake up. So I got there
called like 3 or 4 times. Text, hey Chris, hey Chris.
I saw the phones. Yeah. So yeah, thanks to Martin. I probably wouldn't have gotten in for sure. So yeah, it was amazing. And so yeah, let's show a first clip.
You want to have the oath? Is that what you'd like to do, or Burchett?
Let's start with the Burchett.
All right.
You had so we see in the hallway again. The hallway was awesome. I really enjoyed it. So many people coming around, and at about 15 minutes, 20 minutes prior to going in is Burchett, and we saw him in the hallway, and it was awesome. Just seeing him in person, you can tell he's passionate about it. He's serious. It was cool.
And when I was there at 6 o'clock, he showed up, and I actually got to interview him a little then. At 6 a.m. he was there, ready to go, and he came there to thank us for standing in line at 6 o'clock in the morning. So that was great, and here he is.
There's always, man. That's as I said, in the Baptist church, we say the devil's trying to keep us from this. This is what happens. You're over the target. They get it. He's all right. They're over the target. They get it. And they know we're over the target. And all these people get it. And they're not going away. This will just get bigger and bigger. And the American public, in the world, actually. I met some fella from Denmark. I mean, people are out here at 4:30 in the morning, dadgummit. Let's get to the bottom of it. This is just the start.
Jeremy, you got a Sorry.
No, this is like Rare Rabbit, dude. They just fell into our trap. They did exactly what I knew they would do and what they've always done. They hid, they run from the American public. We're the taxpayers. We pay their salary. The military, the industrial war complex, does not run us. We run them. We've got to take control of it.
All right.
It is bipartisan, 100%. My best Jerry Moskowitz, hardcore Democrat. He's excellent. God gave him an incredible mind, and he's going to be awesome.
What do you say to that? We don't see a lot of bipartisanship on Capitol.
Because this isn't a partisan issue. This is bipartisan. Look, these people, we're sick of this, both parties, and we know our party's leadership is lying to us about this thing. Let's get on with it.
What do you say to people who say that Grush is not credible?
He's a decorated veteran. That's what people in Washington, D.C. say, but I'll guarantee you in Tennessee and all these people, they don't say that. Because, these gutless guys that sit behind a desk all day and order our kids into war, I have no time for that bunch. Really, he's an American citizen. He's put up with a lot of nonsense to be here.
Last question. What do you say to those who say that everything he heard is secondhand and not firsthand like your other two witnesses?
Well, our other two witnesses are going to go with that. He's going to name names, and that's all we need. This is a start. Like I said, we're not going to bring in any little green men. We're not going to bring a dadgum flying saucer in there, but we're going to bring the people in, and they're going to swear under oath. This is the first time that's going to happen.
All right.
It's a start. It's a start. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here, dude. You have very much credibility. Thank you, brother. God bless you. Go get him.
I think the key out of that is the first time they're doing this under oath.
Under oath.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he said it's a start. That's the point. That's kind of what I felt here. Is now it's gonna change. I think.
Yeah.
I mean that's the hope at least. There's definitely momentum for sure, and he's passionate about it.
Yeah. No, and last night during the show, basically the show that I did later on with Chris joining me, my own show, not the one he was on last night and I was on with him, but about 7:30 or something like that on my show when it was live, Burchett tweeted out that he basically said that he's not going to be chairing the meeting.
Yeah, and Luna was not either.
Right.
That's what. Yeah.
So anyway, I'll just run this real quick clip because he talks about it a little bit, right?
What happened last night? There was some stuff going around on Twitter. It seems like the hearing's moving forward still.
We're still doing the hearing. Let's don't let that be a distraction. So the bottom line is we've got 3 great witnesses, and we need transparency. We need the government to trust us and quit saying we need more money to study this. Look, NASA's had it. The Pentagon's had it. Every defense department has had it. Turn loose the files. American public can handle it. I think it's time to release the files.
Any additional pushback in the past?
Yes, that question. But yeah.
So he didn't really want to answer, is what it
Yeah.
sounded like.
Yeah, and when I asked him, I was talking to him this morning, interviewing him at 6 o'clock, and he didn't want to answer it then. He said, let's not even talk about that. So I don't know exactly what happened. I heard there, you know, it was, may have had to do with the general at the airport down in...
That's what I heard, just as a rumor, right? Oh,
Yeah,
you
it's-
told me the rumor.
Yeah, it's a rumor. It's
Yeah.
it's out there. I don't know what it really is, or if we'll ever know. But it doesn't matter. He was still there, and he was a voice there.
Yeah,
today.
he definitely was. I mean, for sure. It didn't seem like it impacted. Maybe it would have been a different opening statement, but
Yeah.
I thought it was fine.
No, he did a good job. I think everyone there, even the person that took over for him, I thought he did an excellent job too. He had, you know, some good points that he made.
Yeah, and did you in that video when he fist bumps at the end? He says, "Go get him." He's fist bumping me. You know, I was like, "Thanks, sir." And he gives me a fist bump. He's like, "Go get him," and I was like, "Yes, sir." You know, like, I'll get him or I'll try. You know,
Yeah.
It was very. It was inspiring. Yeah, for sure. They're serious.
Yeah. So, I forgot. I'm gonna load up. You want to talk a little bit more
Okay.
with him, and I got the video I want to load up. Jeremy, and you.
Oh, okay. All right. Here, let's see what we have. A few others here. We already played this on the other channel, but I really wanted to share this. Thanks to Matthew for showing up, and I think it should be how we approach it. I think. So I just want to play this clip.
Thank you so much for being willing to talk.
Absolutely.
And
yeah.
I'm sorry to the listeners for the background noise here. Nothing I can do about it. So, your name, please?
Name is Father Matthew Gray.
Welcome to the show. Thank you. And I want to find out, why are you here at the UAP hearing?
Because if this is true, which I personally believe it is true, this is life-changing. This is something that is not an American issue. It's a global issue. It's a human issue.
Yes.
And truth is truth. Truth needs to be known as much as anything else. We have a right to know and kind of delve into the implications of it. And this affects everything.
Right. And so I know you're not speaking for the church.
Right. Not speaking for the church. Just came here on my own volition. I am, of course, Catholic priest, and I wanted to know more about the hearing.
And what do you think about what the Pope has said over the years about the possibility of extraterrestrial life?
The church has always been open to it. Anything that exists because God created it. So why would he not have created non-human intelligences other than ourselves? You know, it further shows his goodness, his creativity, and the goodness of God. So the church has always been open to the possibility. In fact, Pope St. John Paul II was doing an interview, you know, a greeting line. A little girl came up to him, and she asked him straight out, Holy Father, do aliens exist? And he could have said no. He could have said, oh, that's silly. But he just stopped what he was doing, turned to the little girl, and said, don't ever forget, they're created by God and should be loved also. I thought that's beautiful. That's the essence of Christianity, right? It's the essence of our faith, to love one another and to treat each other with respect. So I think I'm looking forward to the church talking out more openly, especially as we ourselves learn more about it.
Now, the observatories. The Catholic Church has amazing observatories.
We do,
One
yes.
in Rome and one in the United States. And do you know anything about, have you ever heard anything about, I forget the name of the father that's the astronomer.
I forget his name too. It's 2006 and 2016, two different statements that came out about, if aliens do exist, then that just further shows God's creativity and his goodness. that
Yeah.
it is possible. So it does not rule that out at all.
And I think there was something about baptizing them too. Did I hear that once?
I hadn't heard that one. That would be interesting.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. It's a pleasure
for your
meeting
time
you, and thank you for coming. And I'm glad you have the curiosity.
Absolutely. Stay curious, and thank you for asking.
You bet.
Yes.
What a great guy. And he watches the shows.
He does.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's just a great message. You know, I've heard a lot that there's a Christian element that has kept this secret.
Right.
You know, because they're scared that it'll upend the
it's gonna
the religious foundations.
The foundation of religion will be crushed, and
But you look, the
but
Pope
no.
is fine with it.
Yeah.
I always thought it was suspicious, actually, that the Vatican was fine with it so many years.
They do have great observatories.
Yes.
So, yeah. And there's a rumor about, I don't know if you ever heard the rumor, that they had spotted something that's supposed to be coming this way by, I think it's 2037, I believe it's supposed to be here. This is like now maybe
This is from the Vatican observatories.
Yes.
No, I haven't heard of this.
You haven't heard that? Yeah, it should be something to be looked into, because it's someone that actually told me about this was, I believe, in the government. So I don't know.
Yeah, that would mess up a lot of people's retirement plans. Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah.
But awesome to Father Gray. Thank you, Matthew, for coming. And again, it's support that comes from you guys. You know, really, you guys push us. You push us, and then we push them. You know, and so appreciate it. Yeah.
So, we're standing there in line, and you want to set this up with?
Yeah. So we're all, we've been waiting there hours. Some of us more hours than others. I got there an hour, I think, after you. But we're in the line, and then all of a sudden we see this commotion, or hear a commotion, and there's this cameras coming down, this giant entourage. There's
all these lights.
Yeah, lights, cameras, and I'm looking through and I see like George Knapp, and he's in a suit, and I'm like, oh hey George, and Jeremy Corbell's there. They're rushing down like like they're the ones
just like walking through, like doing the walk.
It was cool, but I said, hey Jeremy, and he came over and gave me a hug, and I hadn't met him before, so it was cool. It was cool that that he knew me and said hi, and I appreciated it.
Someone was doing, like they said, it was a cock walk.
Hey, what's up? Hey guys. You guys.
I wish I filmed it a little bit longer. I just got the film.
He just came over and
lights and everything.
Oh, the entourage. And then he got to sit right behind. You notice he was right behind.
Right. Yeah, he was on. They were on the camera the whole time. Yeah.
Yeah. I tried to ask to go up there because on the live stream, everybody said, "Where are you?" And we were in the very back next to the door.
Yeah. Last one's in.
And I asked if I could go up there to those seats, and they said no, they're for witnesses that were kicked out or that were blocked.
Well, there were vacant seats in the front row.
I think those were the 3 original other witnesses. Right, because you had 6, is what they said.
Yeah, 6 originals.
So I don't know if those were. Anyway, it seemed like it said witness on it.
Yeah, and that was one of the questions I asked Burchett this morning when I was interviewing him, when my camera was not recording, and I asked him. I said, "What happened to the 3 other witnesses?" And he said various things came up where they didn't feel comfortable. So he didn't really get into any detail about that.
So 3 other witnesses. I wonder if we'll find out ever who those people were, or will they come out at the Senate hearing?
That's right. I wonder if that, or if whatever the reason is that they didn't show up, will change because of this, perhaps.
Yes, hopefully. Yeah, he called out so many. He said NASA, he called them out, the DOD. Yeah, and that was the general impression that we talked about on your channel. Is it seems like from the staffers, I did a tour afterwards with Congressman Fry's staff, and they gave we had a full meeting with their, I would say, oversight staffer, and he's probably early 30s, seemed like a very intelligent guy. And he started asking, detailed questions on this. Where should we be looking? What were the main points that came out of what were the main points for you coming out of the hearing that Congressman Fry should look into? and basically the main points I told him were, we need to protect the whistleblowers. I mean, 100%. David Grush, in the stream, they said there's no new information. I thought there was some new information. And one of the new information is, what were the reprisals against David Grush,
Yes, yeah.
right? Did they just close the door in his face? That's not so bad. Or did they threaten to kill him and his family? And it sounds like they threatened to kill him and his family, or at least
it sounded.
He said he was. Yeah. He said yes. I feared for my life. It wasn't like, well, yeah. No. Did you fear for your life? Luna asked.